The ClevelandMoto Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
All right, we are at episode number ClevelandMoto 335.
Wow.
Yeah, right? 335. That's a lot of fucking episodes. That is many. Yeah. Wow, you were waiting for that, and you did it quite expertly. You made that fucker sing. I've got one half of this is the Australian whiskey, the Australian bourbon that got sent to us, and that killed the bottle. Yeah. And then after I gave it a flavor profile, I couldn't figure out what to blend into it. So when in doubt, wild turkey.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
What I've ended up with is something completely palatable. Yeah, drinkable at any podcast in America. Totally. To my left.
Steve Sleepy.
To his left.
Dan Kromke.
And to his left.
Steve Hoffert.
And
Johnny Mac.
And
Chris Smith.
Triumphant return of Chris Smith. Holy shit. 2 points west and back in one piece. The bike did come home with you, right?
Made it all the way back.
Fucking A, that's good. I'm really happy to hear that. Because, I mean, there was some, calls were made.
Calls were made.
We talked about it. We actually
calls
talked about
were made. Shit happened. Calls were made for real. So super cool. Got all kinds of stuff to discuss. We're going to cover Chris's trip here in a minute. I'm going to do my best to try to cast these pictures to our big old fucking screen. But if not, we can put them on the Facebook page very easily, and people who are listening can look at the Facebook page to understand where you were. So super fun, super cool. The biggest thing that I think we might want to touch just ever so lightly, like Bill Cosby, we might want to touch it ever so lightly, is the fact that for us here in the room, this is 4th of July weekend. By the time you listen to this, that shit will be over. You'll be fine. We successfully celebrated another year of American independence. Go
Most
America.
of us will still have all our fingers.
That's true. Some of us won't. That happens every year. Short fuse Meckelfresh over there.
When it's in LA where they don't even have the truck anymore.
That's true. Yeah, they don't even have the truck. It is literally, here, Phil, light this later. Yeah. That's Kurt Cousineau and John Meckelfresh are both famous for giving me things and saying, I must go now, but after I'm gone, you may light this. Which is the biggest dick move in the world, really, because...
Thank you.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. Yeah, there's no shitting around. That is pure fucking mayhem. I would like to say we're going to get to our sponsorship in a little while. We're not going to talk about Manscaped right the moment, because I know Steve's going to do a big intro for us, and the intro is going to have the awesome, sexy voice of the digital computer lady
Or it
saying
doesn't
Manscaped.
have to. You just let me know.
No, I think we're doing it. We'll do that in the beginning. Okay. It'll be fucking awesome, but then we'll get to the Manscaped stuff in just a minute, because there's stuff on that horizon too. But the one thing that I did want to let people know about, because as you're planning your schedule, right? Mm-hmm. We all plan our schedule. We're all got motorcycle shit to do. We know about AMA Vintage Days, obviously. No shit. We've been talking about that for goddamn ever.
Oh, yeah.
But we know about Barber. That's October, right? So those of us who are wealthy or well-traveled are going to go to Barber. That's fucking cool. But...
Americade, too.
Americade.
It's in the fall.
That's in the fall. October 1st through 3rd. Big deal. Due to the coronavirus still having a hold on the people of Japan, they have canceled one of the MotoGP races. Ooh. Yeah, and this doesn't happen that often, but Americans are going to have an honest-to-God chance to go see MotoGP right in the goddamn United States of America. Huh. And Texas, Austin.
Well, they did it. They did
that
a couple years ago.
They did it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so what they've done is they cut the Japanese race out and they replaced it. And this is pretty late in the game to replace a fucking MotoGP race. That takes a lot to prepare. But... it is real and it is true that I confirmed today and made sure. Now, I don't have the ticket prices yet because I did go online. They don't publish the ticket prices right there on their website. But if you look up there it is. It's official. Circuit of the Americas, Austin, Texas. Yeah, October 1st through 3rd. That's an opportunity. Now, years ago, due to us, doing what we do as a motorcycle shop, the company GV sponsored us to go, and we had paddock passes. Oh. We were in the pits, and we had all this cool stuff, but due to a racing conflict, I couldn't go. Oh. So I gave my tickets to Brian Bedell, who was on our podcast from Chicago, and a friend of mine, Brooke, from Minneapolis, and they were able to go. And they were able to go to Austin, Texas, and participate. And I think that might have been the very first time MotoGP was in Austin, Texas.
Well, the last time, so the Circuit of Americas, they had to do all this shit to the track to allow MotoGP to come.
Yes.
They won't come to a track unless it's like...
It's got to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that is one of those things that I did go following years. I did check it out afterwards. It's an amazing track to watch MotoGP on, first of all, because everything's right there. And the paddock is wide open, so you can get through the paddock pretty easily. Very cool, but this is our news tip for you. If you like MotoGP, and there's a lot of shit happening this year in MotoGP, this is a great opportunity to see MotoGP in the USA, and I guarantee it will be more affordable than seeing MotoGP anywhere else on planet Earth.
And this might be the last year of the doctor.
Right.
I think
that's
he's
true.
gonna retire.
Well, I think his son is coming up.
Oh, okay.
So there is that's one of the things in the news too, is that some people feel like Valentino Rossi has held on a little too long. But I think it's because I think he literally wants to usher in the new generation.
Right.
So look, if you really like racing motorcycles and you've been doing it for 20 some odd years and somebody's still willing to pay you, you ride the bike,
But for him, it has to be so interesting though, to come from where he came from.
Yeah.
And now they have like shoulder pucks and elbow pucks and thigh pucks.
Yeah.
Like, cause they're laying on the ground.
That's exactly it.
Completely different.
Tire technology, slipper clutch technology has made these motorcycles to the point where their operators can literally get their body on the ground and still maintain control of the vehicle.
It's nuts.
Holy shit. I mean, that's fucking cool. So I was really excited about that. That's something that I'm saying to our podcast listeners. If you've ever wanted to go see MotoGP, this is a hell of a time to do it. There's not going to be many opportunities that are going to be much, much more affordable to go see it. Kind of neat. Max Biaggi, you guys might have heard of him before. Speaking of Dr. Rossi, Max Biaggi, one of his all-time nemesis ever, has been going out and collecting handfuls of world speed records. Just showing up and just taking a shit ton of land speed records on electric motorcycles. So it's like he just shows up and they're like, oh, well, there isn't a record for 500 watt motorcycles. Quick, make it into a 500 watt motorcycle. And they make it into a 500 watt motorcycle and he goes out and he takes a record for it. So he's collecting a ridiculous number of world records right now. Pretty kick-ass for him. But it turns out that he is going to be, there's a challenger out there in the world and some lunatic has taken a perfectly good motorcycle and drilled a hole in it. This way, from the nose to the tail. And they have literally taken a motorcycle that is built for extreme high speed operation, and where the headlight would normally be, between your hands, they've created a tunnel, a wind tunnel, and it goes under your chest, under your balls, and out the back end. And it looks like a fish with its mouth open. It's fucking ridiculous. But it is a brand new thing that is out there, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the picture up for it. But it is that kind of a thing that I would not normally. We're gonna have to play for a second because I'm hunting for internet. Somebody booted me off my own internet. But it is this kind of a thing that we have had the ideas of making things very streamlined for very, very long, and it's kind of fun that when we see things that are brand new technology that will make people go 300, 400 miles per hour, that's badass. So,
well, you would think it would collapse the low pressure in the back of the bike.
Exactly. And you know what, Steve? That's exactly what I said too. No, it isn't. I didn't say that at all. I just said it's got a hole in it. I'm trying like hell. Somebody's desperately trying to take my internet from me.
I always thought they should do that with cars because it's logical that you could have a tunnel running right through the center of a car.
Yeah, there you go. Take a look at that. Oh, what the hell's going on there? What the hell's going on there? It's got a mouth. It looks like a fucking guppy. Okay, and if you look at it from the side, it really looks like a fucking guppy. So this motorcycle is legit. This is going to be the contender. It's electric powered, obviously. And this is the contender for the new top speed record because it totally looks like a fucking guppy. And now that you see it in person, you do see it's not as weird as you think it is. because the rider is still in a very normal position.
And I'm sure it provides downforce and stuff. And all MotoGP guys are all running weird wings and shit off the front of the fairings anyways.
This is 70% more aerodynamic than the newest Hayabusa.
Wow.
Yeah. So wind resistance is everything when you're trying to punch a big fast hole in the air, and that's exactly what this bike is all about.
Well, it translates to economy too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going to say this could be something that we might see. Because think about it, this is an electric motorcycle. You don't need to put the pistons in the gas tank and all that fun shit in a normal area anymore. With electric, everything can be wherever the fuck you need to put it. And because of this motorcycle is going to get insanely sick mileage. So it's called the WMC 250 EV. That's a really sexy name, by the way. Yeah, numbers and letters, right?
Is that like a production thing or just a racing
This is a racing bike. This is pure fucking mana of the gods. I mean, this is not for production use. This is just to go stupid fast. I'm even trying to understand the suspension system because the shock absorber is mounted horizontally in the rear. And it has these two links that go up to it. And as they go up, it squeezes the shock absorber together. How fucking weird is that? Like, that's stupid weird. Can't possibly figure out the way that shock absorbing system works, but there it is. That's kind of fun because you got a really short shock absorber that's doing the job, but it's taking up very, very little space. So I think that's kind of sexy. So yeah, kind of cool. Not the something I'm used to seeing.
Does the wind tunnel go all the way through, or does it just cool the batteries?
No, it goes the whole goddamn thing.
Huh.
In the front door, out the back door. Right, exactly. Like a big giant fish with its mouth open. Yeah. Very fucking cool. Just as far as I'm concerned, badass. Like, when you think about something like that and that idea of just nobody's ever thought about that, putting a hole right through. You look at the smoke coming into its nose and blowing out its ass.
Out the butt.
It's pretty fucking hilarious. Yeah, that's like in one end and out the other. All right, so that's that. I hope that's just my headphones and not my actual microphone making all the noise right now. So that's that thing. And then real quickly, if anybody's been paying attention to the news, on July 15th, that company in Milwaukee is going to announce that they have a brand new motorcycle for you. And they want you to believe that it's going to be this. So far, all their marketing has suggested that it's going to be this kind of a impossible motorcycle. There you go. They've taken the motor out of the Pan America and they've put it into something that I can best describe has about 1 inch of rear wheel travel and kind of looks, I just don't know how DOT-able that motorcycle is. It's very beautiful and very sexy and kind of cool looking, I guess. But that's what image has been leaked by Harley Davidson's as called the Custom 1250. However, it's weird because when you go to other websites and you go to other markets that don't get their news feed directly from Harley Davidson, other pictures do show up that aren't quite as appealing. I don't know. So there's going to be the people that just...
They're trying to build an FTR.
Yeah, the people who feed at the trough and just take whatever Harley gives them and put it up on their website, that's one thing. But then there are other people that don't really just feed at the trough and then actually do some research and come up with what the bike's actually going to look like, which kind of isn't that pretty. Yeah, I'll pull it down again. So there you go. That's more what I expected. That's probably more like...
I actually prefer this.
You prefer this? Yeah, you prefer this.
The other one looked like they hired some kids that used to do like the hack jobs on Craigslist and then made a cafe /
Yeah, and so there's going to come... They said it's going to come in a Street Fighter. They said it's going to come in a flat tracker, like John said, trying to get some of that FTR money. So I think this is going to be going after the FTR money.
The exhaust just looks way too big.
There's a number of things on that image that bother me. The whole front end
radiator. You said something about that radiator before.
Yeah, I did. There's a number of things on that motorcycle that I don't care for, and we'll see what actually ends up in production. But here we go. Right.
I find it interesting that they're calling it a 1250.
Yeah, right.
Because the engine, the CIs wouldn't be big enough for somebody. I mean, because the number would be lower than what they previously had.
Yeah.
They had to go metric just to make it seem like it's bigger than what it is.
Well, you can't murder the Sportster unless you replace it with something better, right? So you can't kill off a 1200 Sportster unless you bring out a 1201, right? And that's exactly what's happening. Is like, so why do you think they were murdering the Sportster? Oh, to make way for this, because if you already have this motor, you don't keep making the 1200, right? And what's really funny is you can have that photo, that image, that artistic image that gets fed to you, or you can go online and look up the patent drawings.
Right.
And it turns out the patent drawings are pretty accurate. It's like, when a company has to submit its patent drawings, that's going to be what the motorcycle looks like. And there they are, so.
Well,
yeah.
Harley definitely put, a little bit of a stink into the whole world with the Pan America because Spy Shots came in of BMW.
Yeah.
And now they have a 1300 GSA that's coming in. And they brought the cylinders. It's still a boxer.
Yeah.
But they're like smushed.
Oh, really?
And they're smaller but it supposedly has more torque and all this because all these guys, all the adventure guys that really ride adventure, that's what they really want is like a 9,000 horsepower off-road machine because that's what you need.
Because the number one thing I think about when I'm in the dirt is 100 foot-pounds of torque.
Right.
Yeah.
But how do you reduce stroke and get more torque?
Probably variable something.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say,
but I'm like you're killing off a couple valves at low end or something. But
and maybe an exhaust valve and wiping out 2 of your exhaust valves, right? Or the other thing that I would do is I would retard my timing to about negative 21, right? So you take your timing way, way, way back so that you're not firing until you're at mega squish.
If you can find it, if you put in BMW 1300 GSA or something, and they're really fucking with the styling.
Oh yeah.
And of course you can't tell 100% because it still has all the shrouds on it. They're trying to be all sneaky about it and stuff, but it's pretty interesting.
It is pretty interesting. And then of course because you can't have a story about Harley Davidson without trotting out the Quanjiang, the QJ. So there's the QJ. Again, very happy to tell you that it still very much closely resembles a Benelli TNT 302S with just a slightly different gas tank and a slightly different tail section. They didn't even bother to change the front fender. It's still a Benelli TNT front fender, and it's still a Benelli. There's not literally. They only said to the guy doing the Photoshop, "Make this one fast.
Right.
Just you've got 5 minutes. Make it a Harley." And they did. They made it orange and black, and they made it have a Sportster shaped gas tank. Yay!
Well, maybe BMW should tilt their cylinders up.
If they did, because it could be a sideways Moto Guzzi. It could be a front to back Moto Guzzi. That would be it. Shaft drive still, it'd work just fine. I'm saying, don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to do that. So that's pretty fucking silly. Again, we don't judge. We just tell you the information that we find when we're crawling around the internet. There's this really weird thing about India. India really, really super duper wants to be part of the big motorcycle market. So when these companies who have extensive holdings in India, like Harley Davidson, when they do that, they've got to also acknowledge that they might have some people in India maybe buying this thing, as unlikely as that might seem. And they have to submit drawings to the Indian goddamn government as well. So what drawings do you think Harley Davidson submitted to India? Because it's pretty fucking funny. In India, people sit side saddle.
Oh yeah,
they do. Yep, and that's a thing that people still do in India every single day when they jump on their motorcycles. So when Harley Davidson had to submit drawings to India, they had to be drawings that would represent the Indian marketplace and the motorcycles that Indian folks would be riding. And we've seen years and years of what happens when that motorcycle ends up going to India. Well, so they basically did the exact same drawings, and I will try like fuck to pull them up again. We're having a little tech problem right now. But what their normal technique is to simply put a side saddle on it so the women can sit side saddle on the bike without having their saris, their dresses just sucked into the drivetrain and ripping them off the motorcycle unceremoniously. Well, that happened. So they did. And they're officially building that exact same motorcycle with a cage on the side of it, or a fence, a galvanized yard fence, so that they can actually still put people sideways on the bike, which is fucking insane. Yep. So that's going to take a minute. We're going to time out on that, of course. I think we should just jump right over to Chris's adventure at this point, because I'm not going to get any satisfaction on this.
Right. Well, that's the question.
I'm going to. I swear to God. There it is. Yay! Sorry, guys. Hate for the fucking delay. So here we go. Hey, look at that. Look at what they did to the motorcycle. They put a baby Playgate on it. They literally put a play gate
yeah.
for a child on the back of the motorcycle. So that really does take some of the macho away from your Pan America when it looks like it has a Luger holster on the back of it, but it's just literally that whole metal area on the back of the motorcycle is a grate.
It's like Elizabethan time when women had like a metal frame underneath their dress.
Yes, they had the metal frame under the dress. Well, that's exactly what this is for. This is there to keep that clothing item from going into the back wheel, into the suspension, into the
Himalaya
exhaust.
has that too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and our Bajaj scooters, when we got our first Bajaj scooters, they came with crash bars on them for free. But the left crash bar had a big step on it. So like if you tried to get it through a doorway, most of the bike would fit, and then you get to that giant step on the left side of the scooter. Well, that was called the stepney, and that was literally when a person was sitting side saddle where they would put their feet.
They should have just stole from an old Indian and put it like an all enclosed fender. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Made it just
like the Triumph bathtub. Like they have those bikes that are just fully enclosed in the back, which makes perfect sense.
3TA.
Right, exactly, for this Harley Davidson Pan America or Harley Davidson, Street Fighter, whatever it's going to be.
The PC800.
Again, that's the solution to every problem for you, but we do understand. We will allow it because it's actually applicable in this case. So, how long ago, Chris, did you leave on this adventure? Because you're back today or back yesterday?
Back yesterday.
Back yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I left on Saturday the 19th.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
And where did you go?
Well, on Saturday we made it up to Mackinac City, and we got to ride through the Tunnel of Trees. Has anybody ever heard of the Tunnel of Trees?
No.
Yeah. Well, it's worth it if you got a lot of time to kill. But,
Could you see daylight when you were in the Tunnel of Trees?
I could actually.
Okay, so there was still some daylight trickling through the trees.
There was, and we get into the Tunnel of Trees, which is probably 8 miles long.
Now, how does that compare to the Tunnel of Love out at the compound?
At the compound, right.
This is a little bit less intimidating.
Okay.
But so we get in there, and there's about 9 people ahead of us, and so it's myself and Pete. I don't have time for this hemfling.
Oh God!
And at the very front of the line was a Toyota Prius going about
12.
15 miles an hour, stacked up with another car, and then 3 Harley bikes, and then a Harley trike, and then another minivan. So,
Am I correct in assuming it's not technically a tunnel of trees? I mean, every image I've seen on the internet kind of looks like that.
it's
a little better than that?
Yeah.
It's a little better than
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
and so, Pete, I don't have time for this. Hemfling says
What bike was Pete riding?
his F800,
And what were you riding?
the Moto Guzzi, California.
Okay.
Right.
So on this 2-lane road that each lane is 4 feet wide, Pete pulls out and passes the minivan and the trike,
Oh, really?
and then jams himself into
So
the
he's
point.
wedged in behind the Prius now.
No. There's 2 or 3 Harleys ahead of him.
Oh shit. Okay. All right.
So he just turned orange and black. He's like whoosh, right in the middle.
And he just lassos his way into this thing. I'm going, fuck, I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
I mean, because everybody that he cut in on now lays
They
on their
hate
horn
him. Yeah.
and lays on their brakes. I'm going, Pete, you're pissing everybody off.
Right. And are you guys on comms?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
So did Pete say, "Hey, watch this"?
no, he says, God damn it, I'm going. I can't take this. He just, he loses his grip. So anyhow, he finally gets out of the goddamn thing.
And which bike is he on?
He's on the F800.
The F800.
Wait, so he passes the Harleys and the Prius then?
No, he got stuck behind. I'll correct myself. He did pass all of them.
Yeah.
Because before we got out of the place, the Prius pulled over, the Harleys took off. I was the last guy out, and there was Pete waiting for me.
Oh, yeah.
So
Right.
I thought, Pete, what'd you save yourself?
Yeah, you
other
got
than
nothing.
aggravation, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So
Did they have pull-offs though? Like
No.
in this, it was just a straight shot where you couldn't really.
It looks
People's
pretty much like
homes-
to me like when they built that road, they just kind of said, "This is where it's going."
yeah, there were people's homes on either side with
Yeah.
little gravel driveways and stuff like that. But, that's the first time I've seen him jump out and pass people.
And it's not like a road we go to, like a Highway 129 situation or a triple nickel situation, where the road is the adventure.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, there's pull-offs. There's occasionally scenic overlooks. There's places you can pull off and lets the faster traffic go if you have it.
This is a place where people live on this this road, and they enjoy going 30 miles an hour because this is their home.
Because it's beautiful, yeah.
So, anyhow, we make it up to Mackinac City, and then the next day we got up and crossed the Mackinac Bridge into the UP, and we turned west.
Did you go to McDonald's and have a Mac attack after
all those Macs? You had plenty of Macs.
I'll say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a picture in front, but with you by a very green bridge, which I'm assuming is the Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah. So
because I've been across that bridge once or twice. It is not.
And that's an LAB.
Throwing. Yeah, it's a long ass bridge. Absolutely. That is a long ass bridge. That is. So yeah, the Mackinac Island Bridge is a motherfucker. Like that is. And when you get out there, that's a whole different country.
And it's a little breezy on top of that bridge.
Sure enough. Yeah. Well, because you're going across what other countries would call an ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're taking a bridge across a sea. Yeah. So that's fair. Yeah. No question about that. I'm going to take all these images from Chris's adventures and put them in the show notes.
These are beautiful images, Chris.
Thank you. These are some of the best I've ever seen.
All done with my cell phone too.
Yeah.
I like the snow-capped mountains.
So then we turn west and we start going through the UP, which was relatively uneventful until the heavens opened up. And so we rode through easily 3.5 hours of...
There's the bridge. If anybody wants to see bridge, that's bridge.
Yeah.
Bridge, there's bridge. It's very big bridge. Yeah.
So we had about 3.5 hours worth of hard downpour. At which point I figured out, my boots were not waterproofed as well as I thought I had. So I had about an inch of water in each boot.
Fuck.
And
did you have some bread bags with you or no?
I didn't.
Oh, geez.
Which was rectified the next day.
Rectum fried? Okay.
Well, did you have an extra pair of boots?
No.
Oh,
why?
Shit.
Why bother?
You had to go barefoot the next day.
So we make it into Duluth on Sunday night because Monday, Pete wanted to go to Aerostitch.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
you're there.
A BMW guy that wants to go to Aerostitch?
Imagine that.
But did you go to Grandma's?
We met Grandma, and no, I don't know.
he's not familiar with this grandma concept. What's the grandma concept?
It's a big saloon in Duluth.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, we didn't make it.
Place to go in Duluth.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Duluth Trading Company?
I was gonna say
we didn't do that either.
They're based in Wisconsin.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sure, it is. Of course, it does. So Duluth, you didn't go to Grandma's, but you did go to Aerostitch.
Aerostitch.
Right.
We popped in there, and I got some boot covers.
Yes, you did.
So I got those, and I got some waterproof gloves that you slip your regular gloves into, and it's like 3 lobster fingers like that.
Yep.
And of course, I wore those the next day when it was raining, and then I tucked them down in my saddlebag and couldn't find them for the rest of the trip.
Oh, shit.
So I found them this morning.
Wet.
No,
okay.
they're dry as a bone.
Oh, okay, all right.
So anyhow, as we rode through the rain on Sunday, Monday I started the bike up, and it was loud as hell. It was loud as a Harley. I'm thinking, what the fuck? You know, doesn't sound quite right. So I rode all day, and the more I rode, the louder it got.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this takes us to the infamous H pipe.
The H.
So what I will say that Pete says, well, it'll be fine for the rest of the trip. And I said, yeah, well, let's see what we can do about it. And that's when I called my trusty Moto Guzzi dealer.
Yeah.
And said, what should we do? So...
But first, you had to become a Patreon at the $10 level, so you got the hot
I got right in.
Yeah, real quick, I got a Patreon message that Chris Smith would like to become a member at the $10 level.
But he couldn't use Chris Smith. He had to use Chris Smith too because the other Chris Smith.
The other Chris Smith's already a Patreon. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So anyhow, we did a field repair on the bike, and it actually worked.
Explain this field repair.
Well,
He chewed a lot of gum.
Yeah. We got some pieces, parts at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. It was exhaust tape and some metal tape that they make, and we wrapped the metal tape around the split. And then Pete actually took one of the worm clamps and took it apart and kind of wrapped it in a U shape to kind of pull the H pipe back together, and then crank that down with the 18th worm clamp that we had.
So you basically daisy chained some worm clamps together to make one big long one to squeeze everything together.
We squeezed the shit out of it.
yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the friggin' thing really got back to not exactly where it started out, but it was a hell of an improvement, noticeable improvement.
And this problem, so you guys, we'll pull it up here just so everybody can see it and kind of understand what's going on. The Moto Guzzi California, in the design of the bike, like part of the design of the vehicle is it has a crossover pipe. Many of our motorcycles, we know tons of fucking motorcycles that have crossover pipes. Balance the exhaust on left and right hand side, no problem, right? No big deal. However, if you look at the image, the crossover, what they do there is they've got a couple of those muffler bushings, so like when we were kids and they used to be like, oh, go find some muffler bushings, and you'd be like, yeah, whatever, go pull my other dick, right? So yeah, they'd send us out to go find muffler bushings, but it turns out there really is a thing, and the exact problem that Chris has had is a problem that a lot of other people have had. So on these Moto Guzzis, there is a lot of vibration, 1400 cc's. It's a big fucking motor, and it does shake. I mean, there's quite a bit going on. But when Guzzi designed it, they really only put one of these flexible joints on each side before the muffler, because the muffler, of course, then the muffler can be bolted to the motorcycle, and the engine can do its shaky vibrato thing, and then those mufflers don't crack right at where the intake goes into the muffler. So they make this very cool, flexible, I don't even, what would you call that? It's like mesh. It is literally woven.
It's called a flex pipe.
It's a flex pipe. They have them on cars.
Every car has a flex pipe.
Tons of cars these days have flex pipes. It's just what it is. And that's no problem, except for they were cracking at the H pipe. So where you look at that image and you see that image, you'll see that there's that point in the picture second from the left where there's no fucking flex joint. And then the picture all the way to the left, there is a flex pipe. And so there's a company out there called Guzzi Tech, and they have identified this as being a problem. A lot of Moto Guzzi owners have had this problem where that H pipe cracks. Now, some people complain that the welding is done too quickly, laser welded, what have you, and it just can't take it on long trips, on super long trips. Dudes that don't go on long trips can drive around all the time and never have this problem. Guys that go on long trips where the motor's humming along for 4 or 8 hours, they'll have this problem. And every picture I looked at that was broken looked exactly like yours was broken. And it was only a question of if it's on the shifter side, there's not a lot of really shit over there that you need to worry about. But if it's on the brake side, fire comes out of that pipe. And fire is hot. And fire then goes right on your master cylinder for your rear brake, burning it and burning the master cylinder brake hose off of it and lighting your brake fluid on fire. Yeah. That's kind of sexy. Like, that's a cool way to go out. And but yours was on the
right side,
the brake side. Mm-hmm. So he had it on the side you don't want to have it on.
Right.
Which, while he told me he was describing his problem to me, and I was like, ooh, I think I know what it is. And then I was reconnaissancing his trip. Because, like, you were in South Dakota when you contacted me.
Yeah.
Because, like, the only there were like 2 towns ahead of him that had one had like a red light.
No, we were in Minnesota.
You're Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
When did Pete get that life insurance policy out on you?
Yeah, that's
was it right before he suggested to continue on?
Yeah, 6 weeks before. It cleared, his check cleared and everything, and then he got the
Why did they make him? I don't know, Pete. Why do we need to stop at that airport real quick? I'm just going to get you some travel insurance. Yeah. And that's what it was. So they did manage to they did the perfect field expedient repair. which got them back on the road again. So fucking A, good job,
Good
man.
job, Chris.
Goddamn good job. Super cool.
I didn't do much mechanically, but I did try to keep Pete cool.
You got the.
There you go. Try to keep them cool.
I did see the picture opportunity though of you standing there next to the bike, like, hey, look at me. I'm
wrenching.
Yeah.
He was a cheerleader. Push it in, way in.
Way in. So that's kick ass. So you fixed your motorcycle. So that's good. Yeah.
So from there, the next stop was Lake Itasca. Does anybody know the significance of Lake Itasca?
That's what all the trailers were named after?
No.
The headwaters of the Mississippi River.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That's
Which
a good fun
I
fact.
I didn't know that either. And
Right.
when we pulled in, there's that first picture on the left, or
Okay.
the main picture.
All right.
So that's a series of rocks that you can walk across from one side to the other of the Mississippi.
So this is the easiest place to cross the Mississippi.
Yeah, and it's about 2 feet deep on the right hand side. So there's kids playing in the water and stuff like that on both sides.
Yeah.
And on the far side, that's Lake Itasca that feeds the beginning of Mississippi River. So that was
The Great Mississippi.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that is pretty cool. Here, 1,475 feet above the ocean. 1,475 feet above sea level.
That's pretty high.
Above the
That's
ocean.
pretty high.
Were you ever
The
been
mighty
higher
Mississippi
than that?
begins to flow on its winding way
really
2,552 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, that's
You were one
badass.
high guy.
So that was
the
very
fish,
cool.
all the little fish that swim in there,
Yeah.
2,552 miles later, will
Yeah.
be in the Mississippi.
Bingo.
How many miles did it take you to get home?
4,039.
Fucking A. 4,039 miles.
Yeah.
Well, I can top that. I did like 5 miles on the S65 this week.
Way more challenging.
That's like dog years.
It is dog years. Yeah, 5 miles on the S65 versus 4,000 miles on a Moto Guzzi touring sled. So other than the H-pipe, did the bike do fine?
Yeah, ran great.
Yeah.
Ran great. And
So all the little miscellaneous noises and stuff that you were hearing like that, maybe some of that was part of that H-pipe going bad even before you left.
could have been.
You remember
The H-pipe
there was a
normally-
long time when you wanted like, hey, ride my bike. Does it sound a little funny? So maybe you finally busted the cherry and figured out what was wrong or was making the funny noise.
Well, could have been.
The H-pipe usually is like, I'm great, I'm broken. Because it's literally, it's welded in a circle and it breaks at the weld. So
Correct,
it breaks at the T-weld.
Yeah.
And that's where it fails. And it's just the point where, like any system,
The
science...
heat shields were the noise. I mean, I think the
The
problem
heat
with
shields are
before
noisy.
was the
Yeah.
heat shields were
Yeah.
making noise on
Yeah.
your bikes. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what was the midpoint? What was the point of going on this ride? Where did you end up?
We went to Great Falls, Montana.
But what was there?
So the BMW Motorcycle Owners Association annual rally. And Pete wanted to get there Wednesday night because they open Thursday, and that's when all the goofballs show up.
Okay. So that's like the hot time to get there?
Well, yeah, so you can get your best camping. And as it turns out, when we pulled in probably 4 or 5 o'clock, there are already 300 people there.
Okay.
So everybody else had the same idea,
Everyone,
too.
right. Yeah.
And so people are camping on the equivalent of a tree lawn. They see a patch of grass, they just
And
start
they're in.
slapping
They're in.
their tents down.
Because
So
that's going to be prime real estate. Yeah.
and it was looking pretty menacing. So people were getting their tents up and rain flies on quickly. So as I'm walking around the place, I find, and I think I sent you the
You
photo.
sent me a picture, and honestly, I mean, I'm going to post these up because
You
the
slept in a
pictures are
manger.
really good. You
Well,
sent me a picture of a fucking manger, dude.
Well, those are probably sheep.
They are sheep pens.
Sheep pens,
They're
yeah.
sheep pens.
But-
and that somehow you have a bag of cedar chips.
So I'm walking around looking for a place that's going to be better. And
Right.
I find about 6 of these or 8 of them next to
Yeah.
each other, and nobody's anywhere near them. There's some bikes parked in front of them, but nobody's
Right.
open. So I look and I said, "Geez, that looks pretty good." And it's got
a roof.
It's got a roof.
Oh, fuck
It's
yeah.
got 3 sides, and
That's
then
prime.
it's open out front. And in the last one, there were 2, I don't know, 30-pound bales of cedar shavings.
Yeah.
Still in the bales. I thought, wow, this is
Nobody
manna
will mind
from
if
heaven here.
Nobody will mind if we open those up.
Yeah, fuck it, So we
Who
opened
opened those up?
So we actually swept out. We mucked out the stalls.
Get
we
outta
put down
here.
fresh cedar shavings. We set our tents up, and everybody's walking by. So, does it stink in there? Oh yeah, it's terrible. Don't
yeah.
come anywhere near
Fuck
it.
yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, so it was great.
Meanwhile, it had mild overtones of cedar.
Yeah,
and no moths.
Oh my God.
Penicillin will get rid of the syphilis you got from laying in
In the urine?
the sheep urine.
In the sheep urine?
there's no. I'm not worried about it.
I'm going to say, that picture looks solid. I have no question about how comfortable that was.
It was great.
Yeah.
it was
that
great.
looks like
And,
prime. So how many nights were you in that bivvy?
we were there Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night.
Okay. All right.
And then the thing was over on Sunday, but Saturday it's just walking around. Then you wait around Saturday night for them to give away the grand prize or whatever it is. And
Okay.
Pete says you end up sitting in the sun for 4 hours while they dick around up on stage.
The awards are always a battle.
And what is the award for? Like the best, like the pretentious dude on a BMW?
Sweetest arrow stitch suit.
Yes.
The tightest one.
All right. The best arrow stitch suit wins another arrow stitch suit. Yeah. That's it.
Well, I think the grand prize was a BMW motorcycle. Of
course. Really?
So yeah.
But
yeah.
what's what is the process? Like how do you win something?
So when you pull in, you get a ticket, and mine was number 617. Pete was 616, and they take the other half of it and they throw it in this big tumbler.
Oh, okay.
So on the second day or whatever it was, they pulled prizes, and Pete and I went up to look at the list, and sure enough, 616 and 617 were on the prize list. Like
Shit.
we won something.
Right.
Well, of course, if you look at all this stuff they're handing out, there's bike wash,
Right.
Yeah, right.
a hat,
Right.
a T-shirt and
They're
stuff.
pretty minimal. Right.
Yeah. So I won a $10 gift certificate to a local restaurant and hot sauce joint.
That you're never going to.
And Pete won a $10 gift certificate to the Suds and Go gas station, which was not on our way. So, so I
Did they at least post they posted the raffle tickets up on some board somewhere?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank God, because you didn't have to fucking sit there and wait for a 3-hour raffle to win your $10 fucking ticket.
Yeah. So that was that. So
That would've sucked.
I gave my ticket or my gift certificate to a guy who was there who knew Pete. He's a travel guy. I said, well, he's staying in town. I said, here, just take this.
Yeah,
and
take this. Go have a meal.
dinner or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. And then Pete gave his away to somebody at a gas station, a father
Right.
and a son. Say, hey, I'm never going to use this. So
Right. Go
But
get
anyhow,
$10 worth of gas.
Yeah, we passed along the good karma on that.
That's excellent. Yeah.
So we're at the BMW rally, and I found the beer tent. So
Did you really now?
I did. It took me 45 or 50 seconds to find it, but I was able to.
It's probably the
stop
only
there.
thing at the BMW rally with a line.
Well, no.
No, really?
There were lines at the
Arrow stitch tent.
Arrow Stitch wasn't there, but
And the
there's
urinals.
clear water lights.
Yeah.
My
People are
God.
just completely Camaro for that shit.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! There's 30 or 40
Ceramic-
bikes
ceramic
lined up with
coating.
orders.
What is that?
Clearwater Lights makes these.
They're just little
Additional-
projector beams. So they're just lights you put on your bike. But the trick with them is it's to LED technology taken to 11. And they're so amazing for being as small as they are. I've had several sets of them. I got a set in my office right now that they have to come with a power controller on them because if you run them at full chat, they're the only LEDs I've ever seen that can drain your fucking battery because they literally have a voltage controller on them so you can control the brightness and there'll be a green light and a red light. When you're pulling over 12 volts out of those little sons of bitches, they'll go red light on you because your voltage regulator can't keep up with them. So it'll be like, oh, I'm driving down the road and I'm like, oh, I really want to see down the road. What I found out the hard way, though, is that those Clearwater lights, when you turn them on to like anything above 50%, you can see the street signs, like the highway signs, this exit, 19 miles away. So you can't see anything else at night. So when you're driving down the road at night and you turn them up even halfway, all those big freeway signs become they're burning your fucking retinas out. So you do have to use them carefully. they're crazy bright for as small as they are.
But I think like 10 years ago they were like cutting edge. Nobody could understand the technology.
Right.
And now like the $200 China version of them are like 75% as good now.
Yes.
Compared to like back in the day, they were like 10.
Not for BMW owners.
Yeah, you
Well,
are.
no. Well, that's just, you have to have that. If it doesn't say Clearwater on it, you don't have an LED. You have whatever.
Right. That's true.
You might as well be
absolutely
riding
true.
a fucking Honda at that point. Or
That's
something.
true.
I personally like the xenon stuff, like the high white.
High white, yeah. I gotcha.
I mean, they seem to illuminate better than even an LED.
Yeah.
So, Chris, did anybody blow it out and bring their own like cheesemonger with them or a wine connoisseur?
What was
How was the charcuterie?
I was going to say, what was the most BMW thing you saw at the BMW rally?
Wow.
You know, the tummy stick contest.
Yeah.
Any lederhosen or anything?
Were there some nice old BMWs there?
There were some antiques.
Did you see an R25?
No, I think I saw an 1937 BMW is what Pete was telling me.
Wow. Okay. All right.
You know,
It could have been an R5, right?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think it was an R5 now.
Yep, they're super rare.
Super
My favorite
rare.
bike.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely
Favorite
fucking
antique bike.
gorgeous. Yeah.
So we went to a couple of
Were
seminars.
there BMW women there?
Yeah, there were some rather robust BMW women there. And,
Any lederhosen?
I like to call them sturdy.
I didn't see any
Built
lederhosen,
wide
but I
and low
did
to the
see.
ground for farming. Yeah.
I saw quite a few kilts.
Yeah. That'd have to be a lot of kills. That's
So
the
they were-
R5, you know.
They were kilting away there.
Yep.
So the one guy that did a couple of talks, so he runs IMT tours in Europe. Mm-hmm. And so Pete wants to go on one of these. So I went and sat through it. So there's one that, buzzes around Spain, up into France, and down through Italy, and then you hit Corsica and Sicily, and then you come back, But the second one that we went to watch was tour of Morocco, and I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed. First of all, the guy tells a good story about his company, and it's all BMW stuff, and he's been in business coming up on 25 years, and they do things that are pretty interesting. That they take no more than 12 bikes at a time, and no more than I think 16 riders, and they'll have a leader and then a mid person and then a follow-up van carrying your luggage and waiting for everybody. So if you're going along and you want to stop and take a photo of some little calf that's over in the pasture that reminds you of your calf when you were a child, you're actually allowed to just stop
Right.
and
They'll
take the
figure it out.
photo, and the van will wait.
Cool.
And then the second guy will stop at whatever situation it was where they made a turn, so you know where to go.
Right.
So I was impressed with that. The joint has all Moto or BMWs.
Right.
He says he's got a stable of over 200 BMWs that he only uses for 2 years.
Right.
And then he
Sell 'em
moves
off.
them along. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And, people are saying, hey, can I ride my own bike? And I love what the guy said. He says, is your bike in Europe?
Right.
Oh, no. Oh, well, then you're going to have trouble getting it over,
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
over to Europe. He says, but if you want to buy a bike in Europe and leave it, I'll store the bike for you. I'll also store your
gear.
riding
Right.
gear for you.
Wow. Yeah.
Of course, that shut everybody.
Shuts everyone right down. Yeah.
Except for one guy. There's always one guy in every one of these things that's going to ask
Usually
a
that's
zillion
you.
questions.
No.
So the bikes are all there. So I was mildly interested in the Moroccan tour.
Right.
But
I pulled the Moroccan tour up for folks if they want to see it. See it in the background there. So that's the Morocco tour. There's two of them. There's Spain and Morocco, and then there's Morocco. This one is a 9-day tour. They run it many, many, many times, and as you can see, it does a really
you
nice
go to Fez
tour.
and you
Fez,
go to
Marrakesh.
Marrakesh.
This is a really, really good tour.
Can you buy a Fez in Fez?
I would totally buy a Fez in Fez. In fact, I'd probably buy more than one Fez in Fez. But
That'd be very infessive.
But it's interesting to me is that it looks like their tours, looking at their thing here, 10-day tour total, you're going to be around 2,800 euros.
Yeah.
So about, $3,200, give or take, depending on what the exchange rate is at that moment. And then that's the base price. And then how you can do it is down here at the bottom on the IMT page, you can add on little deluxe shit. Like the base price means you're going to be on a BMW G310. So if you want to be on a BMW F750, you're going to add 120 euros to that. If you want to be on an F800 GT, you add 275 euros to that. If you want to have a passenger, that passenger comes on board at an extra 2,000 euros. If you want to have a single room, a room for yourself, that's going to cost you an extra 400 euros. Otherwise, you're bunking up with somebody for 10 days. I do think it's interesting that you can go all the way up the use of force continuum to a BMW K1600 GT for adding an extra 875 euros.
And why?
Why? That to me seems like the worst bike in the world for me to be on that trip on that bike. It just feels wrong to me. But again, you gotta have a bike for that asshole you were talking about. And that's, I think, the bike that is perfect for that asshole. Meanwhile, I would probably be thrilled doing it on the BMW G310R. Like, can I keep up with a group? Fuck yeah. That's all the bike I need. I don't care. I do not need anything fancier. So,
And if it falls over, you can pick it up with your toe.
That's true too. And I've done a couple of these overnight tours, and I can say that I did the Grossglockner Alpenstrasse Germany tours. I did 2 of them. And on both occasions when I did the tour, I came back and bought motorcycles exactly like the motorcycles I rode on the tour. Because Grossglockner, the first time I did it, I was on a VFR 750. And when I came back, I made it my thing. I was like, I'm going to buy a VFR 750. It took a few years, but I eventually bought a VFR.
You talked about that on Motor Stories.
Yeah.
We have a whole thing about it.
Yeah, I eventually bought that fucking motorcycle.
Yeah.
So if you do take one of these tours, be careful. You might come back and buy a BMW. Right. Yeah. So that's cool, but it is really interesting that
I think
Or not, depending on how well it holds up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true too.
I think that
like
Alp store would be great. I would really love that.
That's one of those things that I've always said. I would like to go back and do that again now with an adult brain instead of doing it with the 20-year-old brain I took on my last trip. Because the 20-year-old brain
Where are
was
you going to
just,
find an adult brain?
I know. I can borrow one from somebody. Take my wife with me.
Yeah, right. The doctor.
I'll follow Dr. Waters. It'll be a lot safer that way. But that's fucking fantastic. So that guy was doing IMT tour information. He's basically selling his services, but what is service to sell?
And you know what? He's the owner. So
Right.
he flew over from Europe and comes to.
Is he a client too?
He had a beautiful mane of hair. It
He's
was
the hair club
fantastic.
president.
But it is in his best interest because you're never going to get a more tightly knit group of customers than that BMW rally.
Yeah.
And more people with money usually.
Fuck yeah. Dude, he's not showing up at the Starboys convention.
No.
Fuck no.
No, and also not a vintage like Honda CB350 fucking convention or something.
I did notice that AMA Vintage Days always has a couple of people there leading the tours and all that kind of come down to the Smoky Mountains and we'll take you on the tour. Smoky Mountains is about the highest level of spendy that they're doing. They're not doing Morocco.
Wait, quick question. What is the marquee for Mid-Ohio this year?
Sponsored by Royal Enfield. Okay. And we know that Lawlil was the original spokesman or the master of ceremonies. He's had a scheduling conflict. I was praying that I wasn't reading that he was like dead or something, right?
Okay.
But Aldana. So Aldana is going to be there. If you ever watch any old racing, you saw the guy with the black leathers that had the skeletons on it, skeleton leathers. That's Aldana. So Aldana is going to be the man of honor or master of ceremonies or whatever, like the official dude, which is fucking cool to have that be the spirit of Moto Ohio, and I fucking love that.
I have a Mid-Ohio update.
Yep.
So I was looking for a Easy Up to have a nice shelter,
Yeah.
And I found a really good deal on an Easy Up, an actual Easy Up, and a
Easy Up brand.
commercial one,
Right. Yep.
whatever. And so, of course, like once you buy anything online or do anything, then all your feed turns into shit that,
Nothing but
revolves.
easy ups, yeah.
So Easy Up sent me a thing and said, by the way, we make a camping cube. And I said, oh, what is this?
It latches into your easy up.
And it's a tent that fits. So now I have a 10 by 10 by 7
tent
room.
Right.
That's an Easy Up tent.
Yeah, we had one of those a couple of years ago at Mid-Ohio that we set up We set this thing up. We put the easy up because I got a bunch of easy ups.
Yeah.
And we put the cube. We added the cube to the easy up. It was so fucking cool. And
Yeah.
nobody slept in it.
Oh, I'm going to.
Emma slept under the fucking bus. Everybody else like scattered to the winds. But I looked and at 3:00 in the morning, nobody was in the easy up.
Oh, I'm there.
The only tent in Mid Ohio you can stand up in.
Right.
Fuck. The only tent in Mid Ohio you can wrestle in.
I'm bringing a full like inflatable twin mat, like a big
I
mattress.
was going to say, if you tell me you're going to bring an inflatable bunk bed, I'm out.
Oh, I thought he was going to bring an inflatable partner.
An inflatable date.
Yeah.
That's happening too. But
Yes.
I'm just going to say, like, I'm not sleeping on the floor this year. I'm bringing a full
I'm
2
not
foot
sleeping on the
fucking
floor.
yeah.
Bring your coffee making accoutrements.
Well, you're going to be
Yeah,
in New York,
that's right.
so does it matter? I'll bring it, but are you going to be there?
Yeah. And by the way, if
What
you
day
see
is
this
it?
dude, so this is the guy you're looking for, right? David Aldana, right? So you take a look. There's David Aldana. That's
yeah,
the dude.
yeah, yeah.
That's the dude right there. So if you see David Aldana, you fucking say hi to that motherfucker. He's a goddamn legend. And look him up. Look up his racing. Watch any videos you can find of him. Dude raced flat track, raced superbike, raced just fucking raced
yeah.
shit. And on any Sunday, the motherfucker's in there too. Hardcore. So when you guys finally got done with the BMW rally, I assume
let me
that's 900 sausages and 46 beers later.
Yeah. let me tell you about a guy that parked his bike next to us. He was on an Africa Twin.
One of the 7,000 there.
It was a 3-year-old Africa Twin
Yeah.
with almost 90,000 miles.
Holy
Excellent.
The guy is
Yeah.
about 70 years old.
Yeah.
Hero.
And he's ridden it to the southern tip of South America. This little guy, and he can't be any more than about 5'6", 5'7".
So he's got a little ladder he puts down.
He hops up on this thing like a kid on a big pony, and
Was it a DTC or a normal shift? Did it have a clutch lever?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Normal. So Steve, I was thinking of you. This beautiful Africa Twin, and I could not believe this little man has been ripping around putting that mileage on a 3-year-old fucking
That's
bike.
fantastic.
That's great.
And by the way, I saw 2 other Moto Guzzi Californias while I was out there.
Oh, did you really? That's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
Which
Yeah.
I thought I'd be the only person there on an imported bike, but there are 2 others there.
That is fantastic.
So overall, would you recommend going? Was it worth? I mean, obviously, it sounds like you had a great time, but how was overall? Like coming back now that you're reflecting on it, how did you think?
I would never go again. Just so you know. You know what? You had to find your own time to have a good time. And all these people knew each other. And they're all, this is what they do every year. So they all know, Uncle Charlie and Aunt B and stuff like that.
It's when they come to see each other.
Yeah. And I couldn't give less of a shit, what they're
So it's like us
what they were
going to
doing.
Mid Ohio, but it's these guys at BMW.
Yeah, yeah, and they all get a hard on over this kind of stuff, which is fine. But it was nicely put together. There's courtesy tents where you can get water, and if you forgot, a razor or something like that,
Oh, very cool.
they just give it away.
Clearly, you forgot your razor.
Yeah, well,
I know you're looking like an action star. You walked in, I was like, holy shit. Smith is like he's the what do you call the transporter? He's,
I was gonna say, so the crocodile hunter just showed up, right?
so I said to Pete on Friday night, I said, "So how much of this have you had? Have you had enough?"
Right.
He said, "Yeah, let's leave Saturday morning." So we got the hell out of there by 7:00 Saturday morning. Started heading back west, and the only thing's coming back west. We didn't. So we didn't come across the top. We started angling down toward South Dakota and Wyoming and stuff like that.
Sure.
Or North Dakota, excuse me. But we stopped a couple places that we stopped. We stopped at the Field of Dreams in Iowa.
In Iowa, Dyersville, Iowa.
Yeah, and we stopped at Clear Lake,
Yep.
Iowa, where the music died, and then.
how did your California? Was it comfortable the whole time? Did you find it being like a really you can ride, but that's like a ride. So now you're on this long ride. How was it?
So I had been thinking about trying to get a backrest for the seat, just for support. But what I did was I got a bag that's strapped onto the bike, and it just sat right behind the lower part of my back, and that was just perfect. So I didn't have to ruin the seat by having somebody tear it up and put that post and stuff in. So that worked out great. The cruise control, worked great.
Yeah.
But I was always following Pete, and Pete doesn't have cruise control. So
he's bouncing up and down.
Yeah. So I'm constantly getting off of it and then trying to get it back on. But the other thing is Pete likes to take secondary or tertiary roads.
Right.
So
for our podcast listeners, when you say secondary, the thing that comes out after that is not tertiary, it's tertiary.
Yeah. So some of the roads were
Unkie Phil.
Yeah, some of the roads were, for me, less desirable. Now, I will say this: Pete is an excellent rider.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Pete, we determined that Pete has ridden motorcycles between 170 and 200,000 miles just on bikes he's owned, and on that F800, he's very comfortable. So he'll go through 45 mile an hour, 90-degree turns at 58 or 60 miles an hour, where I'm downshifting on the pig, to about 40.
Yeah, but it's a totally different bike, too.
It is.
It's a totally different bike.
Yeah,
so.
and I had only ridden that bike maybe, you and I ran out, but maybe 200 or 300 miles before packing this thing on. So I don't have the level of confidence, A, in the bike, B, I'm not as good of a rider as he is, and C, he likes to go fucking fast.
Right. But there's also a lot of things you can do. I learned quite a bit this weekend about just changing your rear suspension harder, and the bike turns in so much faster. So if you're going to be on those kind of roads, you almost kind of have to set your bike up for it, compared to your bike set up for cruising on the highway and being comfortable. You know what I mean? So it's the whole.
So when we got to Clear Lake and Mason City are two sister cities about 6 miles apart. Pete had a knobby tire on his rear, and it was wearing down to the point that he thought he felt a steel cord coming through. Yeah. So we stopped at a Honda dealer, and the guy didn't have the right tire, but there was a little place called River City Moto, 2 doors away.
Okay.
And the guy had a tire. So another nice Pete story is Pete took his rear wheel off his BMW right in the guy's parking lot.
Yeah.
And took it in. The guy replaced the tire and told Pete that he had this one bearing is bad in his hub. So Pete says, well, that's all right. I got 2 bearings here in my saddlebag. and so the owner of the shop and the kid who was working on the bike, they were just awestruck there.
Right.
Saying, wow.
Yeah.
This guy really comes
brought his bearings with him. Yeah.
He brought bearings.
You used to ride those 90s.
They rode.
And with those live fan engines, and he had to carry a whole new engine with him because those live fan engines would blow up.
They rode Chinese 90s with 110 top ends or whatever. They rode them across America, for fuck's sake. So yeah, you gotta be self-sufficient. Yeah. So you got a real good guy to ride with.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that's gonna happen that Pete's not gonna be like, yeah, okay, we gotta box these up and ship them home.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't have that H pipe in his bag for you.
So that was 2 nights ago, and then Wednesday we jumped on the road and we took quadiary roads.
Quadiary roads,
which is the equivalent of going down Lorraine Road for 40 miles.
Yeah, I was going to say,
fuck's sake, Pete, what are we doing? Pete,
Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Yeah,
but not even that. It's
Walmart,
Aunt Jemima's and Dollar General.
Yes, a lot of Dollar Generals.
So finally, when we got into
the long way across Chicago.
Way south of Chicago.
Oh, you did. You stayed way south. Smart.
So
don't go anywhere.
We're on Route 17 down there. If you haven't been on Route 17 through Indiana, don't.
You can avoid that.
Yeah.
Gary? Did you go through the beautiful Gary? Indiana?
No, they were under it.
No, we're
Gary, Indiana, Gary, Gary.
Right?
So then we finally get into Ohio, and Pete deigned to get on the turnpike. So anyhow, it's still raining. It rained most of the last day we were coming in, and so he was nice enough to give me a little Ziploc bag. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Get on the turnpike. You got to get a ticket, right?
Yeah.
and I'm going to put it in my tank bag, which is already soaked.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'm going to pull out this piece of wet tissue, hand it to whomever. It's all falling apart. So he gave me a Ziploc. So I stuffed it in there with my cash, rode all the way out and got off at where 90 and 80 split. And I pull up and I open the thing up. I hand the lady. Says, "Here's my ticket. Here's my money.
Right.
Can I?" She's laughing. She says, "Oh, this is perfect." She opens it up.
Oh, great.
It takes it out, takes my money and stuff. I'm going to put the $3 back in your bag and I'm going to zip it for you.
I'm going to pin it to your shirt.
Yeah. So that was it, So I jumped back on 90 and rode back. And I was half thinking of just riding over here at 6 o'clock to make this the last stop.
Yeah, make it the last stop of the trip. Be like, fuck it, Phil. It's done. Fix it.
Yeah.
But you did nail it last week when you called us while we were doing the podcast. That was great. Like, you timed that perfectly.
Yeah, you did.
That was good.
Your call in on the podcast was perfectly timed. So that's just fucking awesome. So that's cool.
Yeah, so that's the story. We saw the geographical center of North America.
Yeah.
It's in
the map,
Rugby.
Kansas.
No,
it
it's in Rugby, North Dakota.
North Dakota.
But it's the geographical center of the United States.
Oh,
map.
North America.
North America.
Yeah,
North America.
Not the United States. 'Cause
North
that one's in
America.
Kansas.
North
I've been
America.
there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So we had to stop and take a photo there.
It's in the geographical center of the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you betcha. So, so now that you've done that, and that was 4,000 some odd miles,
Yeah.
Yay. Are you in any hurry to do that again?
No.
Johnny Mac is heading out.
Yeah. Like, I noticed you're counting the sheep over there a little bit there, John.
Go get some sleep, Johnny Mac. He worked too hard.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to call you about fireworks this weekend and stuff.
If you leave the podcast early, you have to buy donuts for
Saturday?
everybody at work.
What day
And
you
not
going?
the cheap crap.
Okay.
I got things going on with the band for it.
Okay.
I'd like to go play out there for a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
He's getting so used to having naps at work, he just takes them in the evening, too.
Yep.
Gibson's, double chocolate, and custard with sugar.
Now, because I've done a number of dumb long trips, like stupid long trips. And yeah, there's always a feeling when I get done with the dumb long trick, I'm like, fuck that, dude. I don't ever need to do that again. I will fly to wherever I'm going and I will rent a motorcycle when I get there because I'm an adult. And it's true. Like, I know that before you left, we put a new tire on your bike.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess.
2 new tires, front and back. Yeah.
I'm going to guess you need a rear. Right? I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to have you look it over.
We'll see. Exactly. But it's just like, it's one of those things. You're like, as James always says here at the shop, James is famous for saying, was the juice worth the squeeze? And I'm always like, yeah, because it's like, okay, the adventure, because you guys got there on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
You were there for all day Thursday and all day Friday, and you fucked off Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm going to go cross country for something, I want to be there for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me tell you another story. So on the last day, so we go to Field of Dreams, and then Pete wants to go to this restaurant.
Why didn't you were in Dyersville, Iowa, at the Field of Dreams, where they, am I in heaven?
You build it, they will come. Kind
Right.
of thing?
If you build it, they will come. Am I in heaven? No, and you're in Iowa. Right.
Yeah.
But right down the road from that is the Ertl metal toy capital of the world. It is all the little farm toys, all the little metal toys.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was 10 times more impressed by the Ertl toy factory than I was the actual Field of Dreams. Because
Yeah,
the Field of Dreams is a dude's farm.
Yeah, I was underimpressed with the Field of Dreams. And it was rainy and wet, and I'm trying to go over this gravel road in
I've been there.
the California.
I got soaked in. I got sucked into that, and the biggest fucking you gotta go see the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh well, sure. I mean, we're here, right?
Sports ball.
And we got there, and I was like, this sucks.
It's Mecca for some people.
I stood there waiting for Shoeless Joe to walk out of the fucking corn. They should have had a guy just every hour just walk out of the corn and period correct, and people would have lost their damn minds.
Well, there's only 12 people there when we were there.
Well, because it's literally a dude's farm.
and raining.
Yeah.
So Pete wants to go to the best restaurant he's ever been to in his whole entire life. So everybody goes to the superlative, right? Okay, so we ride over to Ballsville to to this restaurant.
Were you still in Iowa, or were you
Iowa?
you were in Iowa, yeah.
But we're heading east, but we have to go north and back west a little bit.
Did you have to dip under from under to hit Ballsville, or
Was it special Rocky Mountain oysters?
So we get there, and Pete is pulling into the parking lot, and there's a lady walking across the street in front of me. She says, "Tell him that we are closed."
oh no?
And so I got the mic. I say, "Hey, Pete, they're closed." What? And Pete starts to get upset.
Loses shit.
Oh no!
Yeah. Because we went 25,
You
30
drove
miles out of the way.
The wrong way.
Yeah.
You went back across the Mississippi.
Well, no,
you hadn't crossed it yet?
No, we hadn't crossed yet.
Yeah.
So after that, Pete decides, all right, look, we got to cross Mississippi. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get on this ferry boat to go across the Mississippi. That's what you do. You can go across a bridge anytime you want. Let's take the ferry. I said, fine. So, of course, that's another trip down another gravel road, 2 miles.
Of course.
So we get there, and we finally get loaded onto this thing, and it's a 15, 20-minute trip across the river. So now we're on the east side of the Mississippi. So then we're riding around, and Pete says, all right, I want to go here, and he punches something into my GPS. And, of course, the directions on the GPS, your GPS.
Yeah, it worked, huh?
It worked, but the orientation was down like this. So
shit.
it's down, and then all the directions across the top, and I need my glasses to read it. And I'm not wearing my glasses, so I'm following the little pink arrow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I think we got to turn right here. Well, we turn right, and we're going along, and it takes us west across the Mississippi River.
Oh no! Oh no!
Right? So it's the shortest distance to someplace, so it takes us back west across the Mississippi River. So then we got to follow this thing 15 miles to the south.
To the ferry.
So to the next bridge.
You God forbid you missed the fucking ferry because you've been across the bridge already.
Yeah, but the ferry was already on the wrong side. It was on the east side, and now we're back on the west side.
Oh, that is
So we crossed the Mississippi River 3 times in 100 miles and 2.5 hours. So
holy.
So
shit.
ask me if Pete was pissed that day.
Oh, I'm sure he was pretty upset.
Was Pete pissed that day?
Pete had decided that it was essentially my fault because I couldn't read the GPS.
That had to be your fault.
Yeah, 100%.
I said, Pete, fuck, you're the one that's dragged me around all these things. But anyhow, so we stopped, had some lunch, and then continued on our way, and found a place to camp out. But back and forth across the Mississippi River 3 times.
3 times.
100 miles. No, that's that eats up a lot of miles with very little distance.
Yeah, it really does. You're like, I can still see the fucking thing that I've crossed 3 times. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all you want to do is go east.
Yeah, get me the fuck east,
I'll eat in a goddamn Applebee's.
Yeah.
Just get me east. Fuck.
So,
that's tough.
And last Pete story. So the last night we stay in like a Quality Inn. So we've been staying in Best Westerns.
Right.
And Pete is a platinum member of Best Western.
Which is hilarious.
And you know what? God love him, because Pete will go in there. He's a little bit like I am, and he'll go in and say, "Well, do you have a military discount and a first responders discount and a
stack them up?"
Yeah. So, and he loves these things. So we stay in a Quality Inn, and the next day Pete wakes up and says, "There's polyester in these sheets."
You think? You think?
I said, "Pete, how do you know that?" "Oh, I was sweating all night. I never sweat in 100%,
in the Best Western.
Yeah. Cotton,
right.
100 or 1,200 weaves per square inch or some shit like that.
Because Best Westerns are known for their Turkish fucking linens.
Yeah.
Bull and branch.
We serve no less than 1,200 thread count on all of
At our Best Western.
They get all their sheets from My Pillow.
So the Quality Inn, which is, of course, the oxymoronic name of the century, right?
Was just fine.
It was fine.
At the end of the day, it was fine.
It was
no
fine.
bed bugs. You didn't get rained on. You're fine. Yeah.
And they let us park our bikes up on their little portico.
Oh, cool.
Underneath
Under the awning?
Yeah, so it didn't get wet and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the joints that we stayed in on the way out and on the way back the people were very friendly. Right. PETA decided that people west of Iowa are the friendliest people in the world. And so if he'll go from North Dakota, from Minnesota to North Dakota, now North Dakota is the friendliest people until you get into Wyoming. Now they're the friendliest people until you get down to North Dakota. So,
I just have one question.
They're more starved for attention.
On your trip, were you able to use any of the manscaping?
Right. Did you use any products? Because I can tell you didn't use any on your face.
I was able to clean out the undercarriage.
You got to do that for moisture control. Yeah, really, that's what it comes down to.
So before you get into that,
right.
Anybody want some listener news?
Hell yes.
I'm going to hand this to Phil because he's a much better orator than I am.
Well, actually, I think that I might be able to pull this off. I was doing a little prodding around with the old gargler.
Yeah, because I forwarded it to you. I hope you can find it.
Yeah, you did.
So, this guy, he sent it to Moto Stories, but it also includes the podcast.
Right on.
And we have a fan and also a pretty fucking awesome guy that happens to live in Sweden.
Right, which is kind of badass.
Stockholm? No.
Stockholm syndrome.
Falkenberg.
Falkenberg.
But okay, here we go. You know what? You did forward it to me. You did send it to me. Here we go. Swedish. So this says Swedish West Coast Bureau.
That's him.
That's the one, right?
Yeah.
So again, this is one of those things where we get shocked occasionally that we have podcast listener.
Yes.
Right. And that it still kills us. So we're like, oh shit. Somebody comes in and is like, oh, I love your podcast. It's great. Yeah. Or somebody buys us 2 extremely high-end microphones that you're talking into.
Right.
Chris, you're talking into a $250 microphone right now that was bought for us by Chris Franklin, one of our podcast listeners, who will get shout outs forever.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not worthy.
Yeah,
no, your story was, though.
We did that because your story was awesome.
Right.
And that's what we wanted to make sure that you got it. So for reals, so Steve sent this over to me and I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't see it, whatever. He says, greetings from Falkenberg, Sweden. Bike nut born in 1972. We have a free educational system here, so not really sure why, but my parents gave me a Kawasaki KX80 at my 12th birthday. And from there, I'm all about 2 wheels and an engine and learning new ways to hurt myself.
We love this guy. We love this guy.
The whole idea, free educational system.
Motorcycles.
Right. So the whole idea is you have an expensive educational system, kill those children off before they get to college. Right? When your education and healthcare is free, don't give them motorcycles. No. Make them earn money to take care of you.
But we're happy he got one.
Well, yeah, because he says, come to think of it, my parents probably just wanted a retroactive abortion as they didn't have the college tuition to even think about. Been listening to your podcast at work and it really makes the hours fly by. That seems unlikely. I have soul-suckingly boring job editing golf videos. No. But it pays my bills and also funds my 2-wheeled addiction. So a huge thanks for making work hours seem shorter. I have fixed and modified bikes for over 30 years now, so a lot have come and gone over the years, but here are some of my current bikes. No new bikes because I always fix up bikes and dump money into them, and then when they are finished, I sell them way too cheap, so my bank account is made of helium.
But the thing is, he sent pictures and stories and everything for every bike, and it's awesome.
Right, and so his one that he puts up here, so this one up here is, he said, a backyard racer. It looks like one of those Coleman things or whatever.
Like a little buggy boo or whatever they call it.
little doodlebug or woolly booger or whatever the hell they sell at Costco's. Had a really lame 80cc engine, so I got it replaced with a 210cc in the pick. Yeah, there you go. Now it has a 420cc motor.
We love this guy.
Oh, game on, dude. My first test ride with the 420 resulted in a bent fork in the front wheel, ended up almost under the engine. I raced straight into the foundation of my garage. Funny as hell. And I think we can see the garage in the background of the image. So, yeah.
It looks like the compound.
It does look like the compound. Yeah. This could be our compound east. So the... Is it like a smoking a blinch? Yes, exactly. Smoking a pancake? Waffle and a blinch? Okay. One of my other backyard racers, I put 8-inch Honda Z50 wheels, we were talking about this last week, on it, and a modified pissed-off ZS 155cc engine.
This dude don't fuck around.
Yeah, right?
He brings the heat.
This bike has smacked my face in the dirt more than any bike I've ever owned. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, basically what you're riding is a way too fast cod piece. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not big enough to be that much motor. So then he's got a fucking, we call it a Jawa, They don't. The Java. The Jawa 350-84. So these Jawas are kind of legendary. These things were made in the Czech. So he says, a very uncommon bike here. Yeah, it's an uncommon bike anywhere outside of the fucking Eastern Bloc. Made in former Czechoslovakia. Bought it for a bag of chips and then fixed it up. Rebuilt the engine and stuff. Amazingly, they still make new parts for this bike, and they are really cheap also. The beefy gear shift lever doubles as a Kickstarter and also disengages the clutch. It's true. It is. It's that's how that motor works. That's real. And the reason he can still get parts for this is because
Russia.
Yeah. Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
So like that's still a modern vehicle. They have a 2021 version of that with the disc brake and ABS that comes with a little diverter from China. Okay. Next one. Holy shit, this next thing is just got a fucking... Did he hit it with his dick? It's got a giant lump in the gas tank. All right, here it goes. A really rare bike, the Yamaha DT250 79 Danish Army.
Damn.
So I've seen these Danish Army bikes being sold not anytime in the past 15 years, but maybe 20 years ago. There was a whole run where you could buy these Swedish and Danish Army bikes crazy cheap.
Wow.
Somebody was bringing them in cheap. Pretty sure I have the only road legal one in Sweden. I don't doubt that. From the info I could get, it seems the Danish Army only ordered 200 of these. The tank was made bigger to meet Army requirements of minimum range. Ugly as fuck, but it makes an excellent ball crusher. Yeah, it does.
That's funny.
It looks like the goddamn Ducati SS800 gas tank where it literally has a device there to impale your testicles. Right? Yay. Super cool. And then my Honda CB1100 F83. It oozes 80s nostalgia. Pretty much only use it to haul my missus around when she feels like tagging along. Don't worry, it only happens like once or twice a year, so it's okay. And that's like solid, CB1100F, rock solid. Got the right paint scheme, right. Blue, white, and red. Badass, super cool. It's a brick. My Street Fighter, all murdered out. Built from a Kawasaki ZX12R 2000 first generation. Yeah, that's pretty fucking sick looking.
Honestly, it looks like a Velspit. What is it?
Smart pillion?
Yeah,
a shark pillion? Yeah, it does. Well, it does have the
shark pillion.
It does. Yes, it does. Shark pillion. It has the kicked up the arse look that is so popular among the Street Fighters. Pretty entertaining bike with 23 kilograms removed. That's probably 60 pounds in the Queens. Removed and 20 horsepower added. Yay. No computer assisted, nothing. I've put a sticker by the key that says, remember, stupid kills. And thanks to that sticker, I've only crashed the bike twice.
I love this dude.
This dude is fucking awesome. Nice. Good job, dude. Oh, here we go. My beater, Yamaha XT600, 1992. Bought it for rusty bicycle money. Fixed it up and brush painted it with the leftover paint from my DT. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. The motorcycle parts are black. The not motorcycle parts are green. I like his aesthetic. That's cool. That's badass. That's a perfectly good motorcycle, too. XT600 is a solid bike. And then, what the shit? Me and my never sell Z50 Honda with white walls even, 1976. Nice. 120cc upgrade, yeah. 4-speed semi-auto personal best day trip of 329 miles, Google says.
Dude, this guy.
Holy shit, that's a lot of miles.
He needs to get on a plane and come visit us. That's what this dude needs.
So he says, my Z50 clone racer. Now, that's not the same bike, dude.
No, he's got more.
This is the Z50.
And look at the CCs on this bitch.
Over parts from dirt bikes and monkey bikes, 212cc ZS 5-speed engine. Yeah, really fun to chase bigger bikes with on my favorite small blacktop roads. No shit. Your bike weighs slightly more than my wallet, and it has 212 cc's. Fuck yeah, you're a fucking hero there. Okay, now, whoa.
Now he's getting into turbos, dude.
Now he's getting weird. My latest project, a Yamaha R1 1998 turbo. Built a turbo R1 when I was in my 20s and sold it 10 to 15 years ago. So that means he's like 35. Kind of young.
Born in 72. So
kind of young for this pod.
Oh, he's 49. He's 49, so he's a year younger than I am.
Bought this one semi-built last summer as my midlife crisis red Miata substitute. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I just got a red Miata. Fuck you. Don't call it a Miata. It's a JAnus Roadster.
Right.
That shit is JDM, bitch. All right. Steering wheel's on the right-hand side. Anyway, really miss the sound of a turbo bike makes. Woo, and the constant top yoke imprints in my face. Yeah. Perfect old guy bike that still manages to scare the hipster millennials on their Tuanos and their MT10s. No shit. Yeah, I guess it would. He says, okay, sorry for the picture bombing, but somehow I suspect you guys are kind of bikeaholics that actually appreciate and have the endurance to scroll to the next pick if it's a two-wheeler. You're right.
Jimmy, we love you.
Man, the very best to all you ride fast and chase fannies. I like that too.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay, right on, dude. So Jimmy Gilström.
We have to make him a bureau chief. Can we make him a bureau chief?
He might have to be our Falkenberg Sweden. He might be the Swedish bureau chief.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then at
we
this
need
point,
updates. We need updates.
We might have to get Swedish Cleveland Moto Swedish updates.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least once a month. Like once a month, send us an update. That'd be good. I love this guy. This guy's awesome.
That is it.
Yeah.
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 Borstidi, bork, bork, bork. I was trying the whole time I was reading that letter not to channel the Swedish chef. Right. I was like, our listeners would probably really fucking love that shit, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it. I'd do it,
Listening
but I wouldn't
back,
like doing
it would probably not be as funny as we thought of. Yeah.
Yeah. I would, because Bagel always rips off a good accent. Like Bagel's good for an accent from just about anywhere.
Right.
And I am too, but one, I'm not nearly fucked up enough.
But so back in my RC days when I was flying the big airplanes, there's a guy named Weesey who lives in Sweden that came over and was like my counterpart.
His name's Wheezy?
Weesey, yeah, Wesse.
Oh, not Wheezy.
No, Weesey.
Okay.
But he rebuilds mopeds and little mini bikes and stuff like that. And he's a metalsmith, so he makes like all kinds of weird shit and wood stuff. And one of his things that he was making back in the day that he sold a shit ton over there was a giant wood cock, because they sell these bird feeder things. They're a string with two balls.
Okay.
So you'd put this cock on your thing
between
and then
the
hang
two.
the thing. So his thing was when he came over to the States to hang out with us, he brought 50 of them.
50 of the wood cocks.
Yeah. So when
he didn't bring out the ball, bird's nests with him.
So when he got to the States and he got through customs, they were like,
"What you got there?
What's in the bag here?" He goes, "Oh, I am a homosexual. I like the fun times." And we're just like, "Okay, whatever." So I still have it. I'll bring it in next week. It's a giant 12-inch wooden fucking cock.
All right, man. Great, right on, dude. I cannot bitch about that at all.
No,
that's
not at all.
Fucking cool, man. Yeah, I have no gripe about that at all. I think that for the money, you get those people in Finland, Norway, Sweden, because Europeans are cool. Europeans, without a doubt, they're fucking cool. But the further you are north, you're always kind of looking a little further north going, God, I hope they stay on their side of the border. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, you forget that these people have been in constant fear of a Cold War nightmare.
Right.
Because, again, I watch a lot of European television, and there's all kinds of TV shows about the Russians going traipsing over the border.
Right.
Up in the Malamute territory, up in the area of sled dogs and seaplanes and shit. And when we do that shit, we're all just thinking about we just picture, what the fuck was her name up in Wasilla, Alaska.
Oh.
Yeah, we all just picture her.
What's her face?
Yeah, we all just picture her up there. Oh yeah, from my back porch I can see Russia. No, you can't. Don't sweat it.
What was her name?
Yeah, but we all think about her, and we don't think about
Palin.
Palin.
Sarah Palin.
We don't think about the people who are actually connected via land.
Right.
She was also in Iron Sky too. She was the president in Iron Sky.
She was the president. Oh, she was in Iron Sky 2. Oh, so
Iron Sky 1. She was the president.
Was she really? Oh, I mean, I haven't seen Iron Sky 1.
The
fictional president, right?
An actor that was playing
but she wasn't playing the part as celebrity typecasting.
No.
They were just saying that in that dystopian future, Sarah Palin was the president.
Right.
Exactly. You know what? They probably thought about using Donald Trump, but they said that was too far-fetched.
Right.
It was like, oh, that'll never fucking happen. Put Sarah Palin in there.
And I read an article today that the Finnish are the happiest people in the world, but they also have the highest suicide rate. So go figure.
I think that's fair.
So the sad ones kill themselves.
Yeah, so I guess
the sad ones wipe themselves out. So the saddest ones have the common courtesy to wipe themselves out so that their numbers could stay high.
Yeah, their numbers are high.
How are you feeling? Not so good. You should probably take care of that.
Because we're the happiest country in the world, and you're dragging our average down.
You're bumming me out, man. You're bumming me out. Go take care of that shit.
Sven, we've decided that you're not smiling enough. Would you like to look down this gun? Yeah.
What is this? It's a selfie camera. Just hit the button.
Okay. Fucking hell, man. That is awful. That is terrible. So should we say something about Manscaped?
It's up to you.
I think we should. I mean,
have you heard? Or
I have not, but again, we just don't. We don't want to take any liberties with the folks. They're doing a great job. They sent us some cool shit. That's cool. We're really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm very much all in on the product. I've continued to use it, despite. Now, here's what I can tell you. Even though John said that his wife has had success using it
on the clam,
I tried using it. I tried just like. I'll admit it. I tried using it on my cat.
Oh.
Yeah, didn't work.
No. Not so good?
No, Maine Coon cat is far tougher than a fucking Manscaped shaver.
Gotcha.
So it turns out a Manscaped shaver will go about 37 feet. It turns out a Manscaped shaver is the right noise, the right auditory signal to really piss off a 23-pound Maine Coon cat.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just kind of like, I think maybe he'd look good like a lion.
Right.
And I was like, well, I know it works on my balls, and I know it works on my neck, and I know it works on the other places. I was like, I wonder if it'll work on the cat. So I kind of got the cat good and stoned, and just catnip, nothing weird, right. Nothing weird. I wasn't like shotgun.
No animal people have to call.
No, we don't need to do that. Right. It was just catnip. He was by his own fucking choice. And so while I was petting him, I got the little Landscape 4.0 out.
Oh yeah.
Just got the light and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I turned it on, and he kind of looked at me like, what the fuck? And it's just kind of, it doesn't make a loud grinding sound. It's just kind of it's pretty quiet. It's honestly.
It would be scary if it made a loud grinding sound.
Yeah, right, yeah. But it was very chill. It was very cool, and it wasn't scary at all. It was very, very, it was very decent, right? It was cool. And I just kind of held it when I kept petting him and stuff, and I just had it going because I don't want to freak him out. Like, I'm not going to charge him with it, I just had it going. It's petting him.
He's just got one hole in him.
It looked like an episode of Jackass. I mean, this fucking cat. Okay. When this happened, when I made one attempt at him, this big lazy cat who's got to be 18, 19 years old, who generally just moves around the house like poorly made furniture, just leaving parts of himself wherever he goes. This motherfucker just got all of a sudden instant Hulk rage. And he got so fucking angry at me. He got super angry at me, and he batted the Manscaped 4.0. And it went across. Now, I do not live in a palatial estate. Our house used to be what's considered beach property, right? So we live in a little cottage that's been amplified. But our living room ain't big. But he hit that thing so fucking hard, it missed the TV by 3.5 inches and hit the wall. And here's what I can tell you, and this is why I bring this up about the Manscaped 4.0. Don't worry about dropping it in the shower.
No.
You're okay.
You're fine.
You're totally fine. You can drop it in the shower all you fucking want. Because
your toenails.
This thing hit the wall at about 240. And pieces of it went. Oh, but it did that, like, what do they call that? That sacrificial programmed deconstruction.
Yeah. So the
nothing
guard
broke. Nothing broke. It disassembled, but I was shocked that I was able to put it all back together instantly with no problem.
So it's got crush zones?
Apparently, it's designed to take a beating
and
keep on weed eating.
So
it's amazing. Yeah.
I also had this. So this weekend, it's not their main product.
Right.
Again, I think we talked about it for a minute. But
Yeah.
So they're underwears that they sell for the men's.
Yeah, right.
So Saturday, I tried to see if anybody was riding. Nobody was going to ride. So I went out on the Z900, and I did 475 miles on the Z900.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a hell of a day.
It was a good day.
That is a hell of a day.
I tested. I wanted to make sure that there was enough ground clearance between the front wheel and the ground.
Oh, yeah. You want to make sure that the front suspension was rated correctly.
100%.
That's very
so
good.
I did that.
I like that.
But anyway, so I wore the underwear. It was great, the whole thing. Next day, I got up and I went out with Mike and some other guys. We did about 110 miles, fairly aggressively.
Yeah.
On FJ, and I did not wash the underwear. I put them back on and wore them. It was great.
Whoa! That's unfair.
I hope to God you turned them inside out.
I did turn them inside out. I did. But this is what I'm getting to. So, I went to Costco and with my wife, we were buying some stuff for my daughter's graduation party, and I saw that they had this pack of underwear made by another company that looked very similar.
Sure enough.
And I said, huh.
Yeah.
that seems like a fair price for a 5-pack underwear. I'll get those.
Yeah.
And so I bought them.
Kirkland?
Something like that, whatever,
Kirkland
so
underwear.
I slap them on, and they at first they completely were the same.
It felt the same as the Manscaped
snuggy
underwear.
And all nice and whatever, right? And then I rode my motorcycle to work. And about 15 minutes into riding my motorcycle to work, the same kind of cramping and weird, moving around and doing bad shit stuff happened. And I hated it. And I was only on the bike for 25 minutes.
No, I'm the first one to tell you. I have worn the Manscaped underwear several times, and the Manscaped underwear are no fooling around.
No, I'm giving in, and I'm going to buy at least a 5-pack of that underwear so I can ride my motor. I'm just going to keep it as my motorcycle riding underwear, and that's what I'm wearing.
I don't know how old you guys are, but there was a point in my life back in the Wayback Machine where my wife and I decided we'd get satin sheets, just to be like super slick and super sexy. So we got satin sheets. And like the trick with satin sheets is you can have satin sheets, but then you can't also have like satin pajamas.
No.
Because if you have satin sheets and satin pajamas and you try to dive into bed, you're going to land up in your neighbor's yard.
You're doing the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, you're just game on, dude. So I have not had that experience since I put on the Manscaped underwear. Right. And I put on the Manscaped underwear, and normally I can pull my pants on and then, move around the changing room there until I get my belt and my gun and my, knife and all my shit I normally do, right?
Right.
And so I'm like, but I had my pants on, and I went to go grab my belt, and my pants fell off. And I was like, what the fuck? So I pulled my pants up again. And I pulled my pants up, and I put my pants up, and I go to grab my belt, and my pants fell off again. I couldn't make my pants stick to my fucking body.
But the thing...
I needed the belt.
Right. And the thing I think is kind of interesting about it is somehow, even over many miles or sweat or whatever you want to call it, they hold their shape and they don't do the bunching.
They didn't sag out. No, it didn't end up looking like you were wearing somebody's nutsack on your nutsack.
As much obviously we're sponsors, so we're talking about them. But as much as I like the Manscaper thing or something like that, I'm really kind of blown away by the underwear.
Well, I'm wearing a t-shirt all the time too. The t-shirt's no small digs either. The t-shirt's legit.
Yeah.
So what's funny is normally when a company has a product, and they sell you the product, buy the fucking product.
They give you the cheapest fucking
bullshit. The swag is garbage.
Yeah, right.
The swag is literally garbage. It's stuff you wouldn't use for anything. You're like, oh, thanks, you gave me a beer cozy, fucking, whatever. Right. Great. And it's made in China by children. It doesn't work and whatever. The bottom blows out.
Wait, didn't you give us beer cozy?
I did.
Cozies?
Made in China. No, actually, they were made by Renee in her underwear. Yeah. Look, I mean,
he makes Renee do it in her underwear so he knows that she doesn't steal any when she's leaving.
She can't steal any beer cozies because I know she's wearing nothing on her. Yeah, there's no place to hide beer cozies when she's making my beer cozies.
Well, there is, but you're not going to.
We're not going to get in there. Yeah. We're not going to check her lady pocket. We're not going to check her prison wallet. That's it. She's good to go. We run a pretty tight shop around here, but not that tight. Easy there, Steve.
He said prison wallet.
It is a prison wallet. Oh, look, we have a game around here at the shop that we're like, wow, that's really small. How small is it? So small you could take it to prison. like my rep. Oh, don't get me started on reps. I had a problem with reps. I had a bad day with my reps. But my reps came in, and after I spent $700,000 with their company, I got this little tiny fucking bottle of Muck Off motorcycle cleaner that you could take to prison.
Yes.
There's no doubt you could take this to prison. There's absolutely no doubt anybody at this podcast could take that to prison. $6,000 fucking dollars. $600,000. And I got a bottle of Muck Off, and I got another bottle. I got this blue one that even your tight ass could take to prison.
That's a urethra tube.
This one,
a couple squirts to get it primed.
I know we all joke about how tight Chris and Pete are, but they could take this to prison, right? Because this is a very small bottle of matte finish detailer. So Matt, this is so you can finish.
Oh, your Psycho scooter could look nice.
It could. Yeah, right. It's good for matte things, right? Exactly. So anyway, before we talked about Renee's prison wallet, we do want to say that summer is here. Are you ready to unveil your beach bod? No! You're in luck. No, you're not. Our friends at Manscaped just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the lawnmower. We talked about that. It's cat proof. You heard that right. The 4.0. Complement your summer bod with a trim from the leaders in male grooming. The sun is shining and calling your name, fellas. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for a hot guy summer. Nope. By going to manscaped.com for 20% off and motherfucking free shipping. Yeah. So Jimmy Gilstrom, with an umlaut over his O.
He has an umlaut.
He has an umlaut over his O, so I think it's Gilstrom.
Sure.
Gilstrom.
How about this Jimmy Cool guy?
Like Stroopwafel? Yeah. That's my knowledge of Swedish, which is probably actually from Denmark, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay, anyway.
We apologize in advance for any
No
trauma that we caused.
Yeah, because I'm going to affect his fucking national identity. Some dipshit in Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
Cleveland. Right. We don't even
Cultural
have
misappropriation.
cultural misappropriation. Yeah, that's the Borsta de Bork shit. Right. First you take the Swedish moose. Here, moosey. Yeah, anyway. That is that guy right there. He could have this shipped to him. Get 20% off
Yes, he
and
can.
free interplanetary shipping.
Yes, he can.
That's fucking cool. I mean, if you're from, I don't know, if you're from Uranus.
Well-
if you're from Uranus, you could have free shipping.
Can you imagine? So, like,
you had a
my
hairy
understanding,
anus.
well, a lot of Swedish people have light, fair hair. And
Very light, very fair
so
hair.
that would
Yeah.
be like, that's like having a John Deere tractor. And
It
so,
is. It would be. It would be completely the coolest thing ever.
Right.
But I would say when we did talk about this performance package, if you will, package of performance,
Is it the Weed Whacker?
the Weed Whacker.
Right.
Yeah. The Weed Whacker. Yes, exactly. And the Landscaper 4.0. But
But still no clam. What is it?
Digger.
Clam Digger. No, the Clam Digger's a totally different company. A totally different company.
It's the Clamscaper. The Clamscaper.
You said
wasn't it?
Clanscaper. Like all of a sudden, all these guys in white hoods. The dudes in white hoods are going to be white hood, otherwise open body, trimmed to perfection. Yes.
No, it's when your eye holes aren't big enough. You can poke our trials and see a little bit more.
Manscaped.
We've given this company three
Three
good
new ideas.
The
Yes.
Clamscaper.
The Clanscaper is brilliant because they could just have the hood on, maintain their anonymity, and the rest of them could be perfectly shorn. But they would be anonymous, but
Right.
perfectly groomed. Yeah.
Well, and then we could say that there was any kind of like identifying hair.
And the other thing too is if you're going to burn a cross, there's less chance of singeing you or something like that because you've used the KK Clanscaper. You said we couldn't lose a sponsor? I don't know.
I'm happy to look like a hairy manatee. And I'm still not using that stuff.
Why manatee? Do you have like some propeller marks on your back or something? You've just been hanging out by the docks. That looks like an Evinrude 10 horsepower. Hold on. Oh, that hurt. Fuck. Oh, shit. Don't get close to the Evinrudes.
Oh, shit.
Get a jet ski, asshole. Yeah. Fuck, man. I don't know. That's a terrible podcast. I don't think anybody should listen to it. Yeah. But just remember,
It's so much better with the KK.
if you get the Manscaper, if you get the Manscaped 4.0 performance package, you get the boxers, you get the tool shed travel bag, and you get the Weed Whacker, all in one handy dandy package. Yeah.
Don't you get the ball spray and the...
You do. You get you get what did we say? We've got the crop preserver, right? We got the crop preserver, and then we got the crop reviver. And then later on at the very end, you have a little crop duster. Just a little crop duster at the end. Or that's when Chris walks by and just leaves you a little.
Hey, I have a new one.
Yeah.
Transcaper.
Transcaper. That's it. Now the Transcaper.
It goes both ways. The other one's for free.
Transcaper. We don't care what you got.
We'll shave it all off.
Right. If you don't want the Clamscaper and you don't want the Manscape, you know what? We got the Transcape.
Transcape.
We make no judgments whatsoever. We got the Transcape 4.0. Yeah, that's right. The Transcape 4.0. It goes both ways.
It does.
It's fair enough. I'm okay with that. I think that's good.
I think it's very on point.
We will have to contact the Misfits and see if we can get a release for that. We'll have to contact. We have to pass it past our ethics department because I know 90% of the shit we say lies is just like fuck these idiots.
I know.
Like
I know we like these guys, but seriously,
we
guys?
certainly like them, but they're going to have to fire us at some point. I
right.
know it. We're going to get a big pink hate mail. Some real like we're going to just open something up and glitter and dicks is going to pop out on us and it's going to be like, you're fired. We can't associate with you dicks anymore. Yeah. That's the problem, though. When you're from California, have friends from the Midwest, shit like this is going to happen.
It is.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to happen. You're going to have to eventually admit you're wearing a camouflage hat, for fuck's sake. Literally. Yeah.
Do you understand that just organically?
Are you wearing that ironically?
No, but organically.
Okay.
Organically. We're just talking like normal human beings. And organically, Clanscaper popped out of this all fucking organically.
Again, though, some of us grew up with it.
Yeah.
For me, that was a part of my childhood that was like, way too close to home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was it. Right. Yeah, that was that.
Well, I'm leaving. I'm leaving working in Willoughby and Menor, where pretty much,
right.
that's where they live.
You're not lying.
No.
So that's a factual statement.
Terrible.
So that's fine. That's the good thing.
PSA: We're not condoning or embracing that. We're just
we're laughing at it.
Yeah,
we're laughing
just
at it.
to clarify,
To make
just
it
in case
perfectly clear.
anybody is questioning.
We're laughing at it. Right. Yeah. Anybody who knows us in our heart knows that that we're stupid. We're really not intelligent people.
No, but at the same time, we don't embrace or condone any of that.
We're not trying to hurt anybody, but there will be some there will be some friendly fire.
Right.
There will be some occasional people that do end up getting shrapnelized.
Are morals and funny.
Oh, man.
Funny is way better than anything else. So.
Yeah. Sorry. I agree with that. I agree. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a whole thing going on right now with comedians where like they're having problems with like, the whole the Me Too movement, everything like that, where like they're trying to make fun of the people that are
You're so
against
Midwest, you're still talking about the Me Too movement.
Well,
the rest of the country's moved on.
Well, it's not me. I'm just
teasing.
saying, like, it's whatever. But like, just take anything, and comedians are having a hard time because like they're really trying to like be ironic and bust balls about it, but people can't get past the fact that you're talking about it. Of course, comedy should have the free range to make fun of stupid shit.
If comedy doesn't have an edge, there's no comedy.
Right. Like, can you imagine Sam Kinison trying to come out now?
Can you imagine Lenny Bruce trying to come out now?
No.
Can you imagine a comedian in the world of THX 1138?
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Going deep.
Don't hate the reality when the dystopian future is right around the corner.
Right.
That's it. We could all be there soon enough. The one thing that I did want to bring up that was kind of interesting today, I did run into a new buying technique today.
Oh.
Anybody like to hear the newest buying technique? Yes, I was not even aware of this because I fucking blew my doors off. We had a customer today that just opened my eyes to a whole new way of buying shit. Like straight up, I didn't even know this was a way you could buy something. We sell vehicles. Big shock to people around here. We sell vehicles. And a person contacted us to buy one of our Japanese cars. Now, this is a vehicle that you can't exactly go down the street and buy one of unless you're Steve and you happen to be down this street, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but yeah, I sell a very strange commodity.
You have interesting vehicles.
Weird little commodity. So you go to ClevelandMoto.com, you look at JDM, it's Japanese domestic market.
You just released a whole bunch of new cars.
Tons of new cars.
Right.
We got a whole lot of cars. But anyway, I put these up and we get a person who's interested in the cars. And they write me a nice email, and they ask me all the questions, right? They ask me all the questions. Cool. And I tell them more about the car. Now, my listings are not minimal. No. Shit tons of pictures, whole kinds of descriptions, whatever.
Videos.
Videos.
Everything.
We take pictures under the car.
You're being selfish because you're trying to stop people from just wasting your time asking dumb questions.
That's exactly it, right? If I can put down 40 pictures, that's 39 questions I won't have to answer. Right. So fair enough. So after all the questions, and me going back and forth with person, and I told them the price. Now, for the sake of this conversation, the price of the car is $9,999.
Right.
For the sake of this conversation.
Because it's better than $10,000.
And we've gone back and forth many times, right? Many, many times. And then what this person writes is, thanks for all the information. Please let me know when the price drops.
Oh.
Well, that's a unique approach.
Do you want to make an offer or just
no offer. Just let me know when the price drops.
Delete.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. If you were thinking about sending that email to anybody who's selling anything, I don't care whether it's a fucking cuckoo clock, a decoy duck, or a goddamn motorcycle, stop. Don't send that email.
Right.
Because for the rest of time, I am going to believe that you are a fuck nugget. Like, you are the biggest fucking turd herder that ever walked the earth. You are a human piece of shit.
You're a huge bag of dicks.
Yes, you are the
Smashed
epitome
ones.
of smashed dicks. You are the saddest thing I've ever met, because if you want to buy something, we all know, we talk about it all the time. If the number isn't a number that makes you happy,
barter.
Give a number that does.
Right.
Because I will always respect somebody that says, I can pay or I will pay $8,000.
Right.
Fucking great. Cool. You and your Jesus have decided you're going to pay $8,000. Thank you. I now know where you live. I know where you live. I know your street you're on. I know where your money is. I know how you look at life. You're an $8,000 guy. Now, this might be a $10,000 car, but it might not always.
Right.
Someday it might be an $8,000 car for me.
Right.
And I might call you because I know your number is 8,000.
So you might say, hey, I can't do that today, but I'll put you in my book. And if you really have that $8,000, we can talk.
Even if the offer's a fuck you insult, at least I know where you are.
Right.
Now, if you offer me 2,000, then you're a fucking nasty, weird dick tickler
but
like
at the
that.
same time, with a dealer that you get stuff in and out all the time, maybe you'll come across the same vehicle that is a $8,000.
Exactly.
version of
Yeah,
it.
but I could bet you any money that if you said it went down to $9,000,
Right.
and you call and you send the guy back, it's $9,000. The guy would say, well, let me know when it goes down some more.
Of course, you're right. Absolutely. But the idea of saying, dude, I see your price. I hear your price. That's your price. That's great. Why don't you do me a favor? Could you do all the work in this negotiation? Should you just make it easier
you can
for
negotiate
me?
with yourself.
Could you just call me when your price gets down to my magic price that you don't know about yet?
Right.
Right. Fuck you. Dude, that's not how you buy motorcycles. That's not how you buy cars. It's not how you buy anything.
So-
there's nothing in the world that works that way. You can't go on Amazon and look at an item on Amazon, the place that has changed the whole way the world buys things. You can't look at something on Amazon and go, oh, that's $7.99. Hey, Amazon, will you notify me when the price of this goes to $5.99? Do you know why you can't do that? Because it's fucking stupid. The world doesn't work that way.
Let me ask
when
you
the
this.
world does work that way, I'm leaving.
So all the like things that I've watched
Yeah.
and what they said is that the first person that puts a price in on a negotiation loses.
Usually. Yeah.
So as an owner and as a person that has to negotiate all the time
all day
with
long.
people,
Yeah.
what is good advice for coming? So you don't want to give your full hand.
No,
as a
you be
buyer.
honest.
Steve, can you clarify something?
Right.
You're saying the first person that puts in a price loses, but are you saying that like if I come in and say I'll give you $8,000 for that, that's the loser? Are you saying because
Well, it depends.
it's going to go up?
No.
or-
Okay. Well, no. What I'm saying is like, so say something. So something's for $10,000, right?
Right.
It's a $10,000 price tag.
Right.
If you came in and said, "Hey, I have $8,000.
Right.
I want to buy it right now."
Right.
You kind of lost. Maybe he would take $7,000. You don't know. So like, I mean, but at the same time, I'm not coming from an expert opinion.
Well, I believe that the adage or the colloquialism or the phrase that you're looking for
Right.
is there's a place in a negotiation where we have this term and we say whoever talks next loses.
right.
Okay, so
that
when
sounds-
I'm operating a sale, when I'm doing a sale with somebody, and there's many different ways you can read books on how to make a sale, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like a gut way to do a sale, and there's knowing what you want to get, there's knowing what you're willing to get, and there's knowing what you need to get. So
Okay.
the guy who's selling it should know all those things. If you don't know that, you're not prepared to sell it.
And I'll tell you one thing: you never accept the first offer, or at least you have some discussion about it, because I've done that before selling a bike, and the guy would be like, you know, the bike's going to be $8,000. The guy will say $7,000, and you think about it. That's the number you wanted to get.
Yep.
You're like, good, we have a deal, $7,000. But you know what the guy says?
Oh shit!
I'll
Make
you
it
know what?
$6,500.
$6,500.
No, fuck you, dude.
But you know
That's
what?
why you never accept it.
You
You have
just
to.
you nailed something. It's the same thing because as I was trying to find a new job or whatever, right?
Right.
You don't accept the first offer, and as hard it is when
Why
you
do
get
you
an
think they told you when you were 4 years old never swing at the first pitch?
right, and as hard as it
I
is
always
when
swing
like,
at the
you
first
find
pitch.
something
I
that
always do. I don't care if it's like over the pitch, the catcher's head. I'm swinging.
I'm
at
reaching for that
motherfucker.
fucker.
no, but it's an honest to God truth. Like if you get the first offer, like a company, no matter who you work for, whatever you do, if it's a thing, they're not going to give you their best offer the first time. They're going to be like, is this guy a schmuck or not? Like, and if you take it, you told me that. You're the guy telling me this, and you told me never take the first fucking offer.
Yeah, I didn't say don't
Never
take the
swing
first
at the
pitch.
first pitch, right?
Well, okay.
Same story, different game. Yeah,
right.
But the rule that you're going for is that whole idea of whoever speaks next loses.
Right.
So there is a point in a negotiation where it's very simple, where I've said my price, and then Chris will make his offer, you'll make your offer, whatever, and then there's just a point where one of the parties is just going to get quiet, and when that party gets quiet, there's a reason for that.
Right.
Because the fun and games of it is over, right? That's when I get to the point in the conversation where it's like, look, I told you my need to get it price. I let you get that far. I let you get as far as my need to get it price. And when I let you get to the need to get it price, I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Right.
And you'll know I'm at my need to get price because I'm not going to say anything else. Mm-hmm. Because at that point in the conversation, whoever says anything next loses, period. If I say something, then I'm going to lose. Because I'm going to undercut my own fucking price. And so there's a bottom that every person selling something has their bottom, as low as they're willing to go. And once you get to that point, or once you've been allowed to be put in that position, then it literally turns into whoever talks next loses.
So let me ask you this, as a dealer. So I've started to see in different places dealers that post like, this is our bottom price. There's no negotiation. This is what's included.
Right.
How valid is that for selling stuff? Is that like, do people accept that, or is that like a thing where people are like, fuck that, I want a deal?
I deal with people every single day. A guy today tried to buy a bike off of me and basically said he wasn't going to buy it off me unless I gave him $500 off. And I was like, that's fine, then you're not buying it. Cool. You know why? Because the way the market is right now, the guy who's going to come in tomorrow is going to be shocked that I have it. Right. He's going to be shocked that I have it in stock. He's going to be amazed that it's even here. So as a buyer,
you can't just assume that the prices are prices. You have to figure out the market. You have to figure out everything.
It's an absolute seller's market. There's such a shortage of inventory out there. Nobody has anything to sell. The auctions I used to go to that had 3,000 bikes have 100 bikes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said a few weeks ago, so, I'm especially leaving a job right now during lunch. I just want to get the fuck out.
Right.
So I went to Western Reserve Honda. Yeah. They have 4 motorcycles in their showroom.
Right.
4.
So how many? So those 4 motorcycles, how much of a discount do they need to give on those?
Oh, there's no discount.
There's no discount.
Two of them were used.
Right.
2 of them were used.
Most dealers in the United States are doing what's called Retail Plus. And Retail Plus is just, I talked to a rep the other day and I'm like, he's like, well, what are you guys doing for Retail Plus? I'm like, well, we're not doing anything Retail Plus, but we're not giving any discounts.
Right.
So we're just selling the bike at the market price. We're selling it with the legit shipping. We're selling it with the legit prep. We're just holding our line on everything. We haven't given an discount in 18 months. So we're happy with that because we are not going to go the other way and fuck people because it's like, well, you wanted a red Vespa and guess who's got 7 red Vespas? The guy who's selling them for $1,000 over retail.
Right.
Right. That's a different thing. There are people who are doing that.
Of course.
But right now the market is such that in many things we're hearing about people being told, oh, you ordered a new Indian. Great. So you'll be picking that up in February.
Dan knows about this with his new car, right, Dan?
What'd you find out?
I've been going around again this week. He said, I actually called the Subaru customer advocacy line, and they're like, I'm like, where is the car, and why isn't it here? And they're like, we don't know.
Hold on. How long ago did you order this car?
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave me a $500 off coupon.
A discount.
But no car.
Right. No car. Right. And this is the weirdest thing that Americans can't handle because if you order one fucking finger cot off of Amazon, you can track it from the factory it was built in until it gets in your door, like your mailbox, right? For a 49-cent item. Right. You can track it every step of the way. I get a fucking text message the other day that says like, your Amazon package is only 7 steps away from your front door.
I got that with my tent thing.
And I'm like, I don't need to know that. That's costing money for that information. Stop. Don't give me that intel. I don't need that.
But it's ruining people because now they think everything should be like that. Like you used to never have a cell phone and you could be gone and nobody would even think anything of it. And now people, if you don't call them every 5 minutes,
they're freaking out.
Yeah.
So, and about the delivery thing, we grew up in a time where it was like, Jesus Christ, I would love to have Meaty Beady Big and Bouncy on LP. 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. Mm-hmm. from KTEL or Ronco or whatever the fuck it was. When we ordered shit off of the television, which was considered to be very high tech, very strange. Right. How did you do that? You ordered a record off of the television? Right. I did. I called the phone number and they sent me a record because my dad has a credit card, right? And that's what happened. But 6 to 8 weeks later, the new album, which is now not even on the charts anymore, would arrive.
Right.
Right. So fuck that. We now live in a society where we all expect to know exactly where it is, when it's going to be there, and when it's going to ship, and what kind of box it's in, and what the tracking number is, and what the name of the driver is, and a picture of them leaving at your fucking door.
But you also used to be able to order a car a la carte, too.
You could order a car with a 900-line fucking invoice.
Right.
You know, I only want suede in the back seat. I'd like to have velour in the front, and I'd like to have the door panels done in, baby skin.
Right.
So, yeah, that was the thing you could do. You can't do that anymore.
No, because it's all cookie cutter cars.
I'm sorry, you want air conditioning? That's the mega package.
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't want air conditioning. Oh, that's the base package. Well, can I get something in between?
No.
No. Are you kidding me? No, you're spending $39,000. You can't get what you want.
I want cruise control.
Right.
That'll be an extra $3,000.
Because you have to get the package that it comes with. Right, exactly. But I didn't want self-extinguishing ashtrays. Right. I didn't need that. Doesn't matter.
I want roll-up windows.
If you're getting cruise control, you're getting that.
That's not available with cruise control.
Right. Yes.
Why do I have to get the prostate exam with the cruise control?
Right. It was built into it, baby. Right. But that's where it's different. Everybody, every dealership I know, every person I know that works in this industry, right. Believe me, if you think you're upset because your fucking moped, they can't tell you when your moped's going to be here, I'm going to look at the camera for this one. We don't know. Wait, we honestly don't know.
I have an important question.
Yes.
What about our patron saint,
Chris Franklin?
Chris Franklin.
Yeah.
How's his bike coming?
His bike, we did find out. This is what's funny is last week we knew it was paid for.
Right.
And so this week, and so now we're going to, this is going to be a good one. Mark my words. Because today is year of our Lord 2021. Today is July 1st.
Right.
And July 1st today, we got a notice that it was going to logistics.
Ooh.
Which means that it's in America, which means it's in the United States and it's waiting to go on a truck. But right now, look it up. There's a truck problem. We talked about it on this podcast 3 months ago.
Many times, right?
But right now, because cows and pigs and chickens that are alive and they want them to stay alive, they have priority. And mopeds and Victory motorcycles and batteries and parts for your iPhone, they do not have priority. You know what else priority? Amazon. Do you know why? They have their own trucks.
Can we say
they
that
keep buying more.
When his bike shows up, we can have him on the podcast to
have
his bike delivered?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. And we all played with the bike. I mean, we all played with the AK 550. We like it.
And the one that was crashed is even cool.
They took it away.
Oh, they did?
They took away the crashed AK 550. Ooh. That fucking thing was so twisty. So, I've tried riding it around the parking lot. It turns left like a son of a bitch. Rights are impossible.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job of not stopping before he hit things.
No, and the end result was he was saying that he went into the intersection legally.
Oh.
So he went into the intersection legally, and a car came from not the left turning lane in front of him, which is normally who kills you,
right?
But the fucking curb lane. Ooh. So the car in the curb lane swung all the way across into his lane and punted him damn near head on because it was like a really light angle.
Oh, that bike was not slightly broken.
No, the bike was super broken. Yeah. So however that person managed to hit him, it did catastrophic damage. So yeah, the frame was cracked and the front forks were cracked and they were twisted in a very unique way.
It was so sad.
It was so sad because the bike had 108 miles on it.
Yeah.
Like the highest tech, kicky-assed, coolest fucking motor scooter anybody could buy, the AK 550. And it survived like 14 days.
So do you think they know what AK stands for?
Again, Automatica Kalishnikov? I don't know.
All Korean.
All Korean. No, but it's from Taiwan.
Well, sorry.
No, but I'm serious.
Kimco, motherfucker.
Are they trying to appeal to people that might be like, fuck scooters? Like, oh, wait, it's called an AK 500.
Our buddy. So our buddy in Denver, Colin Shattuck, fucking a true man among men, a true fucking god. He's got a podcast called for Denver sports called The South Stands. So listen to his podcast because
well done.
Colin is he's a legend. But he wrote a great book called Red Eyes, White Walls, and Blue Smoke. Red, white, and blue. It's all about the scooter culture in North America.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really good book. So that's my shout out to Colin because he's a fucking legend. And anybody who knows him knows he is too. But anyway, about Colin, about one of the things about Colin that's pretty legit is when Kymco scooters came out. Kymco, right? We all kind of know what Kymco is. We kind of know that it stands for the Kwan Yang Motor Company. Like we all know it's a Taiwanese company. We know there's some history back there with Honda and everything else.
A little bit of quality.
Yep, a very good quality bike. But when they first came out, Colin's been a dealer for a long time. And when they first came out, everybody's like, what the fuck's a Kymco, man? What's a Kymco? I don't know. What the fucking Kymco is? Is kimchi? Is it made in Korea? What is it, a kimchi scooter? I don't know.
On cabbage?
I don't know. So Kymco had this scooter called the Super 9. And the Super 9 was a liquid-cooled scooter that 50 cc's, but it had a heart of gold. And I mean, like, this thing handled like it was on rails. It was made of unbreakabilium. Like, you couldn't hurt a Kymco Super 9. You couldn't do it. They were hard as nails, tough as shit, and pretty affordable, but it would rev to about $1 million. And it just was a super cool, sporty scooter. They came in bright colors like orange and black and shit, and they were pretty baller. And Colin made these shirts up, and the shirt just had a Kymco Super 9 on it, and the shirt just said, Kwang motherfucking Yang, biatch. And I don't give a shit. I know that's a long way to go for a joke, but fucking his shirt said Kwang motherfucking Yang, bitch. Yeah. And I was like, I need one of those shirts. I know I still have it at my house somewhere. But it's the coolest thing because people are like, Kymco, what's that? And you're like, fucking Kwang motherfucking Yang, bitch. And you're like, yeah, that's it. Because you know what? If you've ridden one, you know. You're like, I was prepping a bunch of bikes today, and I was like riding this bike, and I'm like, this is a brand new Kymco. It's a 150S. I mean, it is not exciting, but it's like, it's very similar to the Piaggio Liberty, but Kymco had to put their Kymco on it. So like, instead of having a skinny back tire, it's got a fucking back tire off of a Honda CB750. It's like, it's way overbuilt. Like, instead of having one rear shock, it's got two, right? Yeah. Like, everything about it is like, oh, I could hit something with this. Whereas the Piaggio is more like, hey, go easy, man. Settle down. Giuseppe, chill out, right? Whereas the Kymco is just like, we will break things. We don't care. We're Kymco. We will carry you into the next century, whether or not you want it. Their bikes are all styled by the GoBot styling department. Like, every single one of them is just like, so when I press this button, it turns into a robot, right? Every single Kymco looks like at any moment it could like produce, walk upright and carry a sword.
But you know what they still haven't done? Because they're smart?
Yeah.
Is make a 2-wheel front or 3-wheel with 2 in the front scooter.
They did.
When?
They just don't sell it here. They're smart enough to not release it on Americans because we're inherently stupid.
Okay.
Because Americans all think that those bikes with 2 wheels on the front hold themselves up in turns and shit. Right. I had people come in today. I want to buy 2 Piaggio MP3s. Oh, really? 2? You want to buy 2 $10,000 bikes?
Yeah, 20 grand.
Step into my orifice. I mean, come on,
happy
dude.
to get these for you.
You're going to make a $20,000 purchase? Present your genitals. I'm on my knees. I'm there for you. Dealer of the year. 5 stars on Yelp. Would get blown
3
again.
stars.
3 stars. The point is, I can't lie to people. I cannot look them in the face and go, sir, it doesn't hold you up.
So how many times have you just said that simple phrase?
Right.
The bike does not hold itself up, and then it stopped the sale of an MP3.
Because something as simple as it doesn't hold you up does not stop. It does not compute. Their brain, they've had since the time they saw a picture of it, right? An MP3, 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back. Also named after a music file formatting system. At the same time,
in the Tour de France,
which is like not as good as the Wave or any other fucking form of it.
When they named the bike, the MP3 file
would
format.
Be a good name for
when they named the bike, it was like Moto Piaggio 3, right?
Yeah. Oh, because 3. Yeah. Right.
3 wheels. Still stupid.
Yeah.
Could have called it anything because there was the MP3 250, the MP3 400, and the MP 500.
What's the thing that the guy comes from the ocean? He has the Trident.
The Trident. It could have been called a Trident.
Yeah.
Yes. It could have been called the Triple. It could have been called anything.
Anything.
It could have been called the Oops, Grandpa Fell Down Again. because that would have been fucking accurate. Right. Yeah. It could have been called the I need more body work. That would have been more accurate. It could have been called oops, hit the curb again because I forgot how wide my motor scooter was. Why your motor scooter is like your ass is on any scooter, any motorcycle in the world. Your asshole is the line of where the tires go.
Right.
We all know where our asshole is, right? You point your nose, that's where the tires go. Except for this fucking thing. It's got outriggers, right? So this is literally
elbows.
What's that?
It's your elbows.
It's your elbows. It is. It's your elbows. It's your fucking elbows. Like, oh, my elbows are out there. That's where I need to be careful of.
Right.
Which one of these three wheels will I sacrifice to the pothole from hell? Because on a two-wheel bike, I can go right around that pothole.
Right.
But on the three-wheel bike, one of you is going to take the hit for Uncle Daddy. So fuck that thing. So this bike is awful. And these people came in, and don't get me wrong, they're amazing if you're French. But if you're from America, you are not ready for this fucking bike. Because the Parisians love it, but they're just weird, right? They just, again, Parisians have been hipsters since the 1700s. Right. They have been cooler than the rest of us.
But they're also accustomed to the fact that if the vehicle they're on rides for 15 miles, it's a success.
But also, they did grow up with a Citroen.
And they went all the way across the country, too.
Well, they grew
15 miles.
They grew up with a Citroen. So if you grew up driving a Citroen, an MP3 is like normal. An MP3 is like, oh, look it, everything's where it's supposed to be.
No,
the turn signal. I don't operate the turn signal with my tit. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, because a Citroen is like the goofiest dumb thing. You're like, okay, where's the turn signals?
And they don't shift with the coat hanger.
Yeah.
Right? They don't use the coat hanger to shift the.
Look, it's all just stupid. Everything. I've driven several Citroens. You will crash that car because you forget where stuff is. You just absolutely forget where stuff is. Well, of course we do. Why? Because they're beautiful. Yeah.
They are beautiful.
It's their best. Every part about the DS is perfect, and I would only ever wear sharkskin suits. I would only wear sharkskin suits and stingy brim hats. Everywhere I went, I would look like every bad guy in every 60s Bond movie. I would go places having my hand tucked in my lapel like this all the time, smoking very skinny cigarettes. And I would just go everywhere just looking at people with very dark foster grandson. Yeah. Fuck you. I'm a Bond villain because I have a Citroen DS. Yeah. I would only be in black and white. You wouldn't be able to look at me in color. Fuck that. But anyway, back to the MP3.
This is a recap.
Yeah.
This started with negotiating on a deal the way to a Citroen.
Yep.
To like, wow.
We're about talented. About that couple that insisted I sell them an MP3 today.
Yes,
2 MP3s today. These folks, they did the marathon that they've ever done to get from their car to my showroom without their canes. When they came through, Daddy was helping Mommy. No, Granny was helping Grampy get through the fucking door. And then one of them said, well, there's not much walking. I don't think you'll need your cane. Oh. These are the people. These are the high-powered sports and,
that want
fired up motorsports enthusiasts that want to have an MP3 500. And I said, it doesn't hold itself up. Now, to make it worse, the new one, the 2022 one, has reverse.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It has reverse. So the newest one has reverse. But I'm going to tell you this. If you sit on the MP3 and you pick your feet up, you will have that much motorcycle falling on you.
Right.
Just like that. It's still a motorcycle. It's still unlocked. It still falls on you. Now, when it does the stupid MP3 trick is when you press the button on the dashboard with a picture of a lock on it. But you can't do that if the wheels are moving. So if the wheels are moving, right, there's a safety mechanism that won't let you do that. Just like a smart car, a car that had intelligence, wouldn't let you get out while the wheels were moving, right? Like a car that was super safety wouldn't let you take the seatbelt off while the wheels were moving.
Right.
A car that was super safety wouldn't let you open the door while the wheels are moving, because that's our future, right? Because we're getting dumber. Right. And I know we're getting dumber because people keep buying MP3s. And the downside of that fucking bike is just this. Everybody tries it. I try it. I got pretty fucking proficient at it. I'm rolling up to the light. Light's red. I'm coming up. I'm cruising in for a landing. And I know that at 3 miles an hour, 2 miles an hour, the little yellow light starts flashing. I can hit the button just now and stop. And the bike is holding itself upright. My feet are on the peg. My feet never came down. And I feel like goddamn Blondin. I've walking the tightrope across Niagara Falls. I have literally landed it perfect. I've not had to put my feet down, And now for the hero move, I'm going to look around and make sure everybody's watching. When the light goes green, I'm going to crack the shit out of the throttle and overdrive the release.
Yep.
So as soon as I crack 1,000,000 revs, as long as my butthole's on the seat, because it does have a butthole sensor. I'm not kidding. It has a butt sensor. It has a butt sensor. If you get off the bike, it will not unlock the suspension.
Oh.
No. If you get your ass up, if you get next to the bike and try to hit the throttle to like make it go up a ramp into the back of a truck, it won't go.
Oh, really?
It shuts the motor off.
So if you stand on the pegs, and
if you stand on the pegs and hit the gas, it won't go anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
did
You
not
have to
know
have
that.
your ass on the seat. It's got a seat, a pressure sensor in the seat.
It's like a lawnmower.
It is like a lawnmower, right? Because again,
That's just a switch.
this motherfucker has so many safeties, it's ridiculous. Like Mattel hasn't made a rifle that has as many safeties as this fucking motor scooter does. But yeah, so if you're really slick, you make sure people are watching, and then the light goes green and you crack the throttle and you'll pull away without putting your feet down. Right. So you know what you're doing. You can land it and you can launch without ever putting your feet down.
But your two customers today would not
But
be
hold
doing
on.
that.
If you
There's
fuck it
more.
up, if you've had one half of one joint, if you're thinking about anything other than what you're
listening.
doing, when that bike stops and you're like, okay, wait, flashy light, hit the stop button, hit the lock button.
And
if you're 1 nanosecond late and gravity's already winning, it locks at whatever angle you're at. So like if you're here, and it doesn't lock the second you press the button, by the way. There's like 9 computer mathematic things that have to happen first. So you press the button and it goes press to lock. Not lock, it's press to lock.
So if you're a professional drag racer, you could probably pull it
You probably
off.
do it pretty good.
Right.
But if you're those people,
Not so good.
I mean, those people have to think
be
about
like
every
lock.
look. Those people have to think about every breath. Every breath they have to think, breathe.
Maybe they like
breathe
it
out.
though, and they're holding hands, and they both lean opposite ways.
Yeah, and they're exact. But here's what
the
happens.
2022 has a defibrillator on it,
Yep,
so that's
yep,
I mean that's a bonus.
And when this fucking thing starts to fall over on you, and you press the emergency stab lock button,
Yeah.
and it's falling. You're like, stop, and you press the button. Because there's that delay between press, hold, lock. When you get that delay and it goes press, lock, what happens is everybody presses it again, which unlocks it.
So let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So back in like 2000, 2001,
In the year 2000.
we used to take apart Wii controllers and make drone controllers out of them, right? Because it had
Okay, all right,
It had
yeah.
all the sensors,
All the
in it,
right buttons, right?
Right, all
okay,
the stuff.
right.
So couldn't they just put a sensor in it to say like under 3 miles an hour, this is upright?
No, because there are many times like me, I ride motorcycles all the time at 0.0110 miles per hour.
No, but I'm saying if you're
Yeah.
hitting, but you're
Right.
not hitting the lock button when
Right.
you're doing that.
Yeah.
So like if you're coming to a
Right.
stop, couldn't they have a fucking like,
Oh, because people would put a piece of gum on that lock button, and the lock button would always be locked. And so every time they slowed below 3 miles per hour, it would lock the suspension. But then if you tried to turn with the front wheels locked, you can't lean.
yeah, you're falling.
And the bike's falling over. Right. You ever try to drive a tricycle backwards?
No, it's not good.
It's not going to happen. You're going to fall on your ass. So that's why it's that one thing. If they took away that stupid fucking feature, which they did in a lot of the European markets, when you bought the MP3, it didn't have the stability, or not stability lock, the suspension lock button. And the suspension lock button wasn't there. And of course, that's because the people there were elevated to understand, like when you come to a stop, you put your foot down.
Yeah, you're still riding a scooter.
Right. But in America, stupid human tricks go like, well, I want to be lazy. Right. Well, how lazy the fuck are you that you can't put your foot down? You've just driven here on a magic carpet, literally being driven. You didn't walk. You didn't pedal a bicycle. Right. You didn't fly. You didn't swim. You got here by twisting your right hand. You like did the opposite of jerking off. You jerked on for like this far and it drove you here. It's magic.
In my neighborhood,
Yeah.
in Cleveland Heights, people have discovered electric scooters
Yeah.
or like 4-wheel drive scooters or
Right.
for whatever.
Handicap scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like normal people
Yes.
that are 125, 30
Yeah,
pounds
right. Are riding
them
handicap scooters
all over the place.
place.
And they have them that they look like T metal Fords
Yep.
and all this shit.
Oh, yeah.
And like so you see these people like, oh,
They're
you-
retiree scooters.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not retirees.
No.
And so you think like, well, at first I was like, wow, these, that's cool that these people are getting out. But then they get to wherever they're going and they jump up and they run to wherever they're
They're
getting.
little tykes for adults.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we can
Power Wheels for adults.
we can avoid traffic by riding on the sidewalks with these things.
Dude drove by here the other day, grown ass man, all of 6'4",
Right.
on his daughter's Power Wheels Jeep. A pink,
No DUIs on that
pink
motherfucker.
and purple Power Wheels Jeep that he had overclocked, or somebody had overclocked it for him, because it went about 12. So it easily went twice the speed of a regular Power Wheels Jeep. But I promise you, it was a Power Wheels Jeep.
Well,
And he went to the goddamn cams, like he literally. Now, just out of my own foolish pride, I will ride a pink Vespa till the cows come home and be sexy as fuck doing it.
Hell yeah.
But I will not ride a child's Power Wheels pink Jeep
To the bar.
unless I'm dressed appropriately.
Right.
I'm not going to do it just for going to get groceries. I'm not going to go and get it to go get a 40 and a pack of menthols.
At band camp, that might be an option.
Again, I will do anything for a joke. If it makes you smile or laugh, I will do it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You want to talk about like gay chicken? All right.
right,
Cool.
right.
Just add liquor. Right. That's it. We're in it to win it. Yeah. All right. On that, you guys got to remember to ride fast and take chances. Press the